I hope I don't get no copyright. Hope I don't get no copyright doing that. Let me see what happens. Let me see what happens. I don't get no copyright. Every once in a while, I'll go in there. And bammo! I just got in right now. I just had to go to the store. Because, of course, I got my favorite adult beverage. Watch this vice presidential debate. And it's supposed to start around 9. I guess I got to have the pre-debate show, whatever, It's going to be on CBS, I believe. And actually, let me go over here and check. Let me double check. Of course, yeah, it's CBS here. Yeah, right now I have it on this channel. It's supposed to simulcast today, but I'm not gonna leave it there. I'm gonna move to right now. Of course, that's Pluto. So let's see who's gonna have it anyway. Okay, simulcast. Okay, so there's gonna be a few. I'll put on this one. Okay. So if I go there now, let's see what's showing up there right now. Let's see what's showing. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Let's see what's showing up there right now. So right now it's just a local, they're just showing that right now. But we'll watch it there, I guess. Well, I can't show this. I can't show it here. I'm gonna put the audio on the stereo, and then I'm gonna watch it here. And then of course, I can comment on it, whatever. But I cannot show you directly because they'll shut down the stream. They'll shut it down like it's a copyright. They will shut it down like in no time. So, Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
But we are not weak. We are a strong nation, strong people.
I'm going to put in between.
And that's been proven time.
I'll put it right there in between just for when I open my adult beverage.
This constant call right after the October 7th attack, even by our State Department, for a ceasefire.
This vice presidential debate is sponsored by
Hezbollah firing 9,000 starting on October 8th. A ceasefire de-escalation.
Sponsored, yeah.
That means the Houthis firing missiles into Israel.
Gotta cool off.
De-escalation. I mean, they've up and destroyed them. Let's do it this way.
It's not heavy duty stuff, but you know what? It cools me off. It's a refreshing brew.
They assassinated the president there some decades ago. Gaza was a beautiful area. They destroyed
a refreshing brew.
Iran.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Basically, Syria. Iran has its finger
there you
on
go.
this. And you're right. Now they've taken off the mask. Another direct
a tally.
And I think Israel is poised to really do something significant about this, no?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to send them a very, very strong message about our resilience, about our capabilities. And Mark, look at the map. See the distance between Iran and Israel.
I think that's the max volume. Alexa, volume max.
No dispute over
oh, yeah, this is a max volume. Wow.
All of a sudden, they are spending so much money.
Now I'm going to have to put the stereo on.
A radical fanatic regime.
Right now, that's the
to send them a clear message, not to mess with us.
Amazon Echo Dot.
Today,
is it called a dot? The one that looks like a hockey puck?
Today we have the capabilities. We have the
well, I'm a security camera with it, in case you're wondering.
Exactly what we intend to do.
Originally, I was going to play it there, but the problem is, again, with the copyright. So, yeah, I guess you guys are going to be watching it at home. I'm going to be watching on the other screen here. I let the audio play over here, but I cannot show the screen while I'm streaming for too long. Right now, see, I have a partial. I have a partial, and I don't want to get because it will shut down the stream. Believe me, I tried it. I tried it
And we will
I
not
tried on this channel actually about,
we still have 101 hostages, 70,000 Israelis that is placed
I think it was a
illegally.
year ago. I tried it. I tried to
But that pain brings us together. And
was it a year ago? The year,
we are standing
no, it was a year
united
before.
to fight back. And we put
I tried to
aside all
broadcast
the
a simulcast of baseball
arguments we
game,
had. You see
Major
religious
League playoff game,
secular
and I got
right,
shut down.
fighting together, standing
10
together.
minutes in, I got
That's
shut
why
down.
we have seen an
Stream got
amazing result
cut off.
in Lebanon, where we fought
So
Hezbollah. And we did the work of the U.S. When you look at those terrorists you killed in the last few weeks, Nasrallah and Ibrahim Akil, they killed hundreds of Americans. So basically, we're fighting with the war of
that's
the
what I'm
U.S.
watching right now.
And I expect, the U.S. calling both sides to stop
I guess it's official now that
but
she,
that's unacceptable. You
I
don't
guess
have
she got
both
sworn
sides.
in or something.
You have aggressor
So
and you
Mexico's
have Israel
first
that defends
female
itself.
president.
Interesting, they don't consult with the people of Iran, who despise that regime. It's a police state. They use much of their military.
Alexa. So of course in Mexico, the president of Mexico, when they get elected, they have 1 6-year term. That's it. They cannot run for re-election. You only get one term for 6 years. And over here, the president gets a 4-year term, and he can only be reelected once for another 4 years, and that's it. It was not that way many years ago. The longest running president here was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. I believe he had 4 terms. He was elected 4 times, and on his 4th term, he died in office. He died in 1940. What it was, 45, right? 45, right before, yeah. Early 19. Well, I forgot when exactly. What? But I know he died right before the end of the war. And then Truman, of course, he was a vice president. He took over, and of course, we know what happened in that year. How they ended the war with Japan. He had to make the decision to drop the atomic bomb on, you know, when Roosevelt passed away. Shortly after that, Germany has surrendered in May of 1945. But the war with Japan went on for a few more months. The Japanese did not want to surrender, and um, the Americans made it all the way to Okinawa. But there was one more invasion. That would have been the invasion of the Japanese island themselves, the island nation of Japan. But the problem is that it would have cost many lives, because they really were fierce. They were not surrendering. They were fierce fighters, and many casualties in the last, especially Okinawa, Guadalcanal, Okinawa. There was a lot of, so the invasion of the Japanese island would have cost 1 million lives on the American side or on the Allied side, or at least over 1 million. And then on the Japanese side, we're talking about 2-3 million maybe. So they only had one other option, was to drop the atomic bomb, and Truman went with that decision. He said, "No, we need to." So they dropped the first one over Hiroshima. The first one I believe was Hiroshima. I always get this back. And no surrender. And they dropped the second one on Nagasaki, and that was it. Then they surrendered. So August 1945, they surrendered. Shortly after the second atomic bomb, and then in September was I believe early September was the ceremony, the official surrender. And yeah, so very tough decision for a vice president. That's why it's very important, and I'm talking about this now because it is very important that when you elect the president, you also have to think about the vice president. because we already had two attempts on. When I say we, I'm talking about the nation. There's already been two attempts on Donald Trump's life, and I said it. I said it many times. I told my wife, I said, what this man is going through, it's a matter of time before somebody attempts to, especially all the language they throw out there that he is a threat to democracy. And the Commerce Secretary the other day said that he should be extinguished. Like these people are relentless. They don't let up on their language. These people are very I'm gonna say they're just disgusting people. They're very they throw that forget about rhetoric. This is straight out forget about rhetoric. This is straight out violent talk. Even on the View the other day, they mentioned that Whoopi Goldberg, which she's a very disgusting person. I actually liked Whoopi Goldberg many years ago when she was funny. Talking about the early '80s, you know, the '80s. Now she turned out to be a very old, disgusting woman, full of hate. And she's talking about that he's a bug. And then Biden supposedly tried to squish the bug. Like whenever it was killed the bug. He's a so in other words, they're calling him like vermin, like insect. Like he's insect. Like just kill him. That's it. This is the type of language they talk. So whether when you vote, you got to think about that too. You're voting for this man, this person that's running for vice president. He's not very stable up here. I'm talking about Tim Walz, your tampon Timmy. Okay, this is a person that traveled to China over 30 times in his life. I'm sorry. I don't care how much of a country I love. When you're a public official and you travel to a country that's you know that wants to one day destroy us, there's something fishy with that. Like that person should not be in charge of this country. And even though he's running for vice president, yeah, so in other words, if Kamala gets elected, he is the vice president now. So that's like a Manchurian candidate right there. You think Biden is compromised? This person is got to be compromised with the Chinese government already. The fact that he traveled and they got married on the anniversary of Tiananmen Square massacre, which is there was students uprising in China. I believe it was in 1980. I can't remember what year off the top of my head. Was it 88? I don't remember the top. I don't want to look it up now. So there was an uprising between students in China and the Chinese government. So they send the army in there into Tiananmen Square and crush the protests. And there's only one way you crush a protest in a country like China, with force. With force. That means shoot them. And there's that famous clip of the man standing in front of a Chinese tank, trying to stop the tanks from rolling into the Tiananmen Square. But this type of government we're talking about, they're very brutal. Although back then Xi Jinping was not in charge, but still, we're talking about the same Chinese government. And this man that's running for vice president, he's traveled it over 30 times. So you got to think about that. Think about that when you vote. Forget about. You know what? You got to put your feelings aside. Put your feelings aside, people. And, when he first ran for president, when Donald Trump first ran for president, before that, I was not a big fan of him. I'm gonna say I'm gonna only because he is very arrogant. Of course, I've known of him for many years. I remember, of course, Atlantic City, going to the casinos, Trump Plaza, Taj Mahal, you know, and of course, I enjoy the casinos, but also I remember him from the USFL. Of course, I was a football fan when they founded that league, the USFL, back in 1980. I think it was 1983, or I don't remember what year. He was the owner of the New Jersey Generals. New Jersey, that was his team, New Jersey Generals. And of course, he's I rooted for him because I it was the New Jersey team. The Giants at that time. The Giants really suck. The Jets were not. They were awful too. So we had a spring football league with the New Jersey Generals, and I wanted to root for them. Another local team, spring football, and he went out to spend the money to get. Remember they got Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker was a Heisman Trophy winner coming out of college, University of Georgia. He would have been the number one pick in the NFL, but he got Herschel Walker to come to the USFL. That was a big deal. That was a big deal, and he did it. Okay, Trump did it. He got Herschel Walker. That gave them recognition right away. That league. They said, "Oh my God, they got the number one pick of the NFL going to USFL." And so he was in the USFL for a couple of seasons. I believe they had 3 seasons. If I remember, I don't know if it's 3 seasons. And then they folded, because there was a whole bunch of stuff about it. And I was not a fan of his. But you gotta understand, when he came down the escalator, he ran. He wanted to run for president. This country was in trouble already. We already had two terms of Obama, and he didn't do nothing. I voted for Obama twice. I did. I voted for him twice. I gave him the benefit of the doubt about unifying this country, unifying relations, race relations, and all that. He did the opposite. He totally, especially his wife, he totally divided this country, and we have not recovered from that since. And you know, they have gone off the rails now. I was a lifelong Democrat, and let me tell you something. I don't recognize that party no more. I do not recognize. I do not recognize anything what they do. I don't recognize that party no more. I grew up in a household where we vote Democrat. That was it. The Puerto Rican household in the Bronx, we all voted Democrat. We didn't even think about Republican. We were brainwashed. I was brainwashed. But after Obama, that was it for me. That was it for me. I said this guy hates law enforcement. The whole nonsense about Black Lives Matter. That's all a scam. Race hustlers making money off of this. You know, I'm sorry, you can't recognize that. You can't recognize that. Uh, no matter you got a president that got elected, that two-term president, and you're still crying racism. Like, I'm sorry, that's just, I can't believe that anymore. I can't believe that black people are targeted by the police and shot at. No, you look at every case. You got to study every case that happened. They didn't comply. They didn't comply. That's what happened. They did not comply. I got stopped by police quite a few times in my life, in the street and in the vehicle. And I could have told you, especially in the streets when I was younger, I kept walking around with a backpack, and you know, they come out with me pointing guns right at me right away. What you got in that bag? I say, officer, I'm just coming. Look at my hands. I went like this. Officer, I'm just coming home from school. You could, I have no problem. You could check my bag. I had nothing to hide. See, when you don't got nothing to hide, you don't worry. You calm. You're not belligerent. You're not trying to fight with the police. When you're in the right, when you didn't do nothing wrong, you don't have to get belligerent and all that. So I said, listen, and I was in front of him. I said, I live right here, officer. Officer, I live right here. I was just going to my. I came from school without even them asking me. I said, officer, I just came from Monroe College. I walked down Jerome. That's right. Cause and then their line is their line could be like, I don't know whether it's true or not. Oh, somebody with your description. Somebody called it in with your kind of your description that you had a gun. I said, officer, I don't have a gun. These are my books in my bag. Uh, you mind? He didn't even say you mind checking. I told him. I said, listen, I don't got nothing. I got nothing but books. You want to take a look at it? Go ahead. So when he saw that I was sincere, right there, he didn't question me no more. He said, okay, I'm sorry. He apologized. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said, no, no problem, officer. Thank you. Have a good evening. That's it. That's how you diffuse the situation. When you're in the when you're not guilty by anything, But the problem is that I seen videos where cops pull over a person because of whatever tail light or they ran a red light or whatever. They're already defensive. They're already fighting with the officer. You know, like nine times out of 10, it was your fault. Just take the ticket and move on because you're gonna lose that battle. You're gonna lose that battle. And this is the problem. This is what happened with Obama. He put that shit in everybody's head. I'm gonna curse you. I don't care. PJ rating out the window. He put that shit in their head that we ought to get them. That's it. And that's what divided this country right through the middle. And then of course, by the time Trump came down the escalator, they were calling him all these names, white supremacists, Hitler, you name it. I mean, stupid, it's ridiculous. And that language has not stopped. They call this man everything in the book, you know, evil, like everything in the book they threw at this man. And you people elected a fucking senile, you know, he got to have Alzheimer's. He's probably halfway through the Alzheimer's right now. He can't remember half of the time where he's at. You have to walk him off the stage and all that. And if you see clips of him now, his wife doesn't give a rat's ass about him now. Okay? His wife right now does not give a shit about him. She leaves him behind now. Before, remember, she used to walk him here and there. Go look at clips of them now. I posted one on Twitter yesterday on my ex account. A video clip where they get off the limo. She's walking ahead and she leaves him now. She said, forget it. You resign. I don't need you. Because she was a power hungry. She is power hungry. Joe Biden was a power hungry. She's power hungry. Go look at the clips now. I posted one on X. She didn't even walk with him no more. Yeah, I know. I don't bother with it. Yeah, I know notification. I said I was gonna be around eight something. I don't know because I had to run to the store. Anyways, there's still time because they're about to do the pre-debate. So I'm doing a monologue here. I'm talking about 8:45. I thought I said 8:15. Okay. I thought I said 8:15. I was rushing. Cheers. So no, it was 8:45 because the debate starts at 9, and then I think was scheduled for 9 o'clock, but they're gonna have it's scheduled for 9 o'clock the program, but they're probably gonna have a pre-debate talk. I don't know, or they might go right into it because the debate is 90 minutes. Yeah. So yeah. It's gonna be 30-minute talk because the debate itself is 90 minutes. So if the program starts at 9, they're gonna have a pre-debate talk for 30 minutes, then the debate. Because right now it's scheduled on CBS for 9 to 11. So 90 minutes, an hour and a half. So 30 minutes is gonna be, well, not even a fluff talk. They're gonna throw hatchets right away because one of the moderators is Margaret Brennan, and she's a Margaret Brennan. Forget it. She's a Trump hater. She's another. CBS is also, you know, see how they showing Margaret Brennan now, like she's a serious reporter. Oh yeah, she does deface the nation. Oh, that's what she does. Deface the nation. That's what we call it. Deface the nation. Oh yeah, she's the host of Deface the Nation. Yeah, I know. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm doing that Paris Hilton thing and a couple of but it's slowed down now. It's slowed down since then. But I'm okay. Listen, I'm happy. I'm happy that I have a forum to speak. Because I always said it once I have a channel that I can and actually I got news for you guys. Um for the members. I'm gonna announce it here one as well. Um Mitchell, I'm gonna make it official. I'm gonna make it official. Um Thank you, Tasso. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna do this for the members of my channel that have a channel that have an active channel of their own. I'm gonna put your accounts on my featured. It says featured channels. I'm gonna list you guys in there. So Tasso, you've been a member for over 6 months now. I'm gonna put both of your channels on my feature channels, and I'm gonna put that on all my channels. And the reason why I'm doing that is, listen, if there's any way that anybody comes through my channel and sees your link and go to your channel and you get a sub or 2 subs or views, whatever, you know what? You deserve it. So I'm gonna add your channels into my feature channels. I don't know what order I'm gonna put them in yet, but you'll be in there in my feature channels because I see that you bring a couple of people over to my channel, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I wish more YouTubers were like you. You know, I wish more you instead of competing each other, we need to bring each other up. And also I'm gonna put Marrated DX's, yeah, and also Marrated DX's channel. I'm gonna put them on my features channel. So it'll be like so that way when people go to my features channel, it's like we have a network, so they can go to his channel, Marrated DX's channel. Listen, anything that can help out each other, especially I know you just started. Anybody that can come to my channel and say, "Oh, look, Linda the Birds. Oh, I like cats, and I like they go to your channel." So when they go to my features channel, or maybe I may eliminate something and put just you guys in one category. I should do that maybe. Let me see what I'll do. I'm gonna put you guys on my features channel first, and because the reason why I like to display as many videos on my front page as possible. But if not, maybe I'll do a separate category. Because remember, YouTube only allows 12 what is not category, 12 sections on your front page. You only allowed to 12. So I already maxed out. But I might do that. I might just put you guys on my features channel. I mean, I'm gonna do it anyway. But I wanna maybe I'll do a separate section and say, I have to think of something like, channels you should awesome channels you should check out or something. Or something. You know? In other words, I want to feature you guys on my main page of my channels. That way, listen, I know I can't do member live streams only all the time or whatever, and it's okay, I did it, but I want to reward you guys any way I can. If somebody can go through my channel and see your Linda the Bird's channel, and they say, oh, you know what, oh, Linda and the Bird, and and they say, wow, and they go to your site and they wind up signing on your site, then you know what? That's worth it. If I can at least do that, then you know. Also, also, if I could make a group for the you know for the Linda the Bird channel, the radio channel. Um, but you don't have a Reddit account. If you had a Reddit account, you could post your. If you had a Reddit account and you do the share, you could have posted your video on my shortwave group on Reddit. I have a group on Reddit called Shortwave Radio, and right now it has over 300. I believe what is it? 360 members. 360 members or something. I think it's 363. I forgot the number. And you can post it in there. I run that chat. That's my group. I'm the only moderator in there. I'm the admin, everything. Just share it there and I'll approve it and that's it. Because the thing is that all those remember I told you about social media? You need more than one. YouTube is not enough. You need an X account if you want to grow your channel more. Reddit account, you know. Like when Keegan, I haven't seen Keegan in a while. I don't know. I hope he's okay. But like Keegan, I did a group called FMDXing. He could have posted all his. Okay. He could have posted, and I told because I don't do FMDXing. He does a lot. I told him, listen, you could post all your videos on FMDXing group on Reddit, and you would have got more views. And he would have got more views. You know, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people out too. You know, I want us to all grow together. So, but he didn't. He's not doing it. So I said, I can only help. I can only tell people so much to help them. Because Reddit, I'm gonna tell you something. Reddit, when you post on Reddit, um, depending on the video and what Reddit forum, because some of them, a lot of them, they don't want people to post YouTube stuff. That's why I created my own groups, and I took the name. I try to take the name, like I took Meeting Wave DX. So I had that group, Meeting Wave DX. That's what it's called. Meeting Wave DX. I took Shortwave Radio. There is a Shortwave group, and it has 14,000 people, but I took Shortwave Radio. So that one is growing. Somebody took Medium Wave. They only have 200 people in there. I have Medium Wave DX. So before somebody took it, I took it. You see what I'm saying? So same thing with FMDXing. I took FMDXing. Exactly. It's best when you have your own. That's what that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build my own network. I'm building. I'm not trying. I am doing it. I'm building my own network. When you build your own network, you're in control of everything. You understand? And I want people like like you, like Married Dix, like people that I know, like what, I can help you guys along. We help each other along because I don't want the group to only be my content. You see what I'm saying? Wink, wink. I don't want my posting to be only me. I allow other people to post. I do a lot of people to post, but I make sure they're not posting crap. And they don't. It's pretty much in control. So if you post in there, I'm gonna approve it. Yeah, that's tassel. You approve. Whoever you approve, but they don't want to take advantage of it. I wish somebody would have done this for me years ago. Where listen, you can post on this group. You might get a few. You might get a few views from Reddit. If you post a video on this Reddit group, you're gonna get a few more views. Anything that helps to grow your channel, you got to take advantage of them. Yeah, you got to build it. Now my Instagram is starting to take off now. I'm at 1,400 now on Instagram. 1,400. TikTok, I'm at 19. I went down a little bit, 19.9 thousand. But TikTok, I haven't been posting on TikTok. But you gotta all these things. You gotta use. You have to. So that's why, and you guys been members for, so I'm gonna reward you guys. I'm gonna put you guys on my, I'm gonna put both of your channels because you have two. Meridius has two. I'm gonna post both of his channels. You know, and then if anybody's a member and they gotta be a member for a while, maybe 6 months, I'll post their channel if they have an active channel. If they don't have an active channel, then Now, once you get to 8 members, then you get featured on the top. But I don't have 8 members. I only have 3 members right now. I don't have 8 members. The most I had was 4 members, and one of them just stopped. And I'm not saying you have to keep on. You don't have to. I mean, I know if you don't have to, it's okay. But at least I want to reward you guys. At least I'll put your link on the. Because that's the one thing I used to always wanted to do on the feature sites, on the feature channels. I always wanted to link reciprocate. So, for example, if I got you on my features channel, then you should put me on your features channel. Now we both, you know what I'm saying? When I did that in the beginning, when I first started this channel, I had people, but a lot of people didn't reciprocate back. So I said, I'm going to put all my channels only. And that's what I did. But now I want to change that. Now I want to, at least I want to reward members. Or maybe if or maybe I just put your link on my description. On all my videos, I just put like, thanks to the members, thank members. Maybe I should edit it. I should make that default. Just put it in the description. I think that I wonder what would be better. Should I just put the link to your channel on the description, or should I put it on the features channel? The problem with my features channel is that you limit it. I'm now thinking I should just put you guys on the description, because usually in my description I put the title, I put the description, and then there's a part where I could just put, I could write member. I know who does. Some people do that though. They put their members on the description. I'm thinking about that. Actually, that would be better because you'll be directly. That means every video I upload, you'll be there. Every video that I upload, you'll be on that. You'll be on that description. I think that'll be better, in a way. I have to look into that. Let me look into that. I know some people do that. They put their members on the description. I see people just put the names on the description. Because I don't have that many. It's only 3 people. But like, for example, you'll have a link. Meredith's gonna have a link, but there's another guy named Tanner. Yeah, I want to make separate playlist for Linda and such. Anyway, the debate is about to start in 2 minutes. Let me put the Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
Plus, I don't want to hear
Just
Anthony.
putting money to create it out of thin air. Kamala's one policy about.
I don't want to hear
trying
Anthony
to
Weiner.
help
I can't stand that
50,000. My
guy.
numbers are off now. It's been a few weeks
That's
since
a
I broke
creep.
this stat, but 50,000 new businesses. Just give them all. No, it's more than that. It's like 1 million new businesses, and she wants to give me.
I don't know how's the audio on this.
That's just putting money out of thin air. Even when the government gives you a tax break, they got to get the money from somehow. If they're giving it to you, then they're going to print it.
Anthony Weiner is a creep. I can't stand
when
him.
Trump tries to inspire creativity, create bonds amongst humans, seeing where there's problems, to solve that problem is a growth opportunity, right? They see.
Anyway,
Bloomberg
is showing it.
More money about, which divides us. It's absolutely about the economy. It's about vision.
And so, final thoughts,
Okay.
Mr. Constantine. Now, we got 2 minutes to go, it looks like, and maybe less than that, a minute or something.
The radio is going to be delayed because I'm streaming the radio. But I'm going to change it. Let me put the receiver. I'm going to put the receiver on.
And to see what
Alexa, stop. I'm going to put the receiver on. Forget it. It's louder anyway.
Here is the CBS News Vice Presidential Debate right here on 77 WABC. Election cycle and voting is already underway in 20 states. CBS News polling shows this remains a race either presidential candidate could win. The CBS News vice presidential debate starts now.
Fight for every single vote, and we're going to take this country back. And we are ready to continue to build the future together.
Delay on the stream.
You know what's at the end of this little journey? Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
WABC New York and 107.1 WLIR.
So they're gonna start right away.
CBS News headquarters in New York. America decides. The vice presidential debate.
Good evening, I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us for tonight's CBS News Vice Presidential Debate. We want to welcome our viewers on CBS, on other networks here in the U.S. and around the world. We have a consequential night ahead, and our focus is the issues that matter to you, the voter. Let's introduce the candidates. Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz and Ohio's Republican
The station.
Vance tonight meeting for the first time. I'm Margaret Brennan. In order to have a thoughtful and civil debate,
I can't show it. I wish I could show it, but I can't.
That both campaigns have agreed to. Questions will be directed at one candidate who will have 2 minutes to respond. The other candidate will be allowed 2 minutes to rebuttal. Then each candidate will get another minute to make further points, with an additional 1 minute each discretion of the moderator. The primary role of the moderators is to facilitate the debate between the candidates, enforce the rules, and provide the candidates with the opportunity to fact-check claims made by each other. CBS News reserves the right.
I got the stereo now. Alexa is too far back. The delay is too far back.
The stage is set. Governor, Senator, thank you for joining us.
Alexa, stop.
Tonight, our country is facing several unfolding crises. The Middle East is on the brink of war. Americans are suffering from the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Helene. And now a labor strike as 25,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas are picketing. We're going to begin tonight with the Middle East. Margaret. Thank you, Nora. Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but that attack failed, thanks to joint U.S. and Israeli defensive action. President Biden has deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets.
I hear the humming now on the AM
to try to prevent a regional war. Iran is weakened, but the U.S.
I think it's a lie. So let me check.
The largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, and it has drastically reduced the time it would take to develop a nuclear weapon. It is down now to 1 or 2 weeks' time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room, would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there. You saw it experienced today, where along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago, a nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors.
The stream is really delayed over here. My God.
Now, the person closest to them,
I don't have over the air in here.
To Donald Trump, said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions.
There you go. Tap on Timmy.
Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed.
I
And
know,
as the
it's
Vice
really
President
delayed.
said
Wow.
today is, we will protect our forces and our allied forces, and there will be consequences.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance.
Yeah, because that's the radio. That's
Would you support or oppose
over the air, the radio, but
strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
So, Margaret, I want to answer the question. First of all, thanks, Governor. Thanks to CBS for hosting the debate. And thanks, most importantly,
I'm going
to
to fix that in the
people who
future.
are watching this evening and caring enough about this country to pay
I'm going to
attention
go over
to
the
this
air and here
presidential
too.
debate. I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working class family. My mother required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required Social Security help to raise me. And she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my
Let me
early
try
life.
to find another
I
street.
went to college on the GI Bill
That's way
after
back.
I
That's
enlisted
too
in the Marine
far
Corps
back.
and served in Iraq. And so I stand here
Wow.
asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight over the next 90 minutes that if we get
I think it doesn't matter
in
if
the
it's
White
stream.
House, if we get Donald Trump
Is it
back
because
in
it's
the White House,
streaming?
the American dream is going to be attainable once again. Now, to answer this particular question, we have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually
I'm trying Newsmax. I'm trying all of them.
it by establishing effective.
Problem is when you scream, it's just going to be
afraid of
delay.
stepping out of line. Iran, which launched this attack, has received over $100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration. What do they use that money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global
problem is the delay is really bad.
Peace back in the world. Now, you asked about a preemptive strike, Margaret, and I want to answer the question. Look, it is up
really
to
bad
Israel
the delay.
what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys. I think that's the right approach to take with the Israel question.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Walz, do you care to respond to any of the allegations?
Well, look, Donald Trump was in office. We'll sometimes hear a revisionist history, but when Donald Trump was in office, it was Donald Trump who we had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in, the inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place. So Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership. And when Iran shot down an American aircraft in international airspace, Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy of Donald Trump. And when Iranian missiles did fall near U.S. troops and they received traumatic brain injuries, Donald Trump wrote it off as headaches. Look, our allies understand that Donald Trump is fickle. He will go to whoever has the most flattery or where it makes sense to him. Steady leadership like you witnessed today, like you witnessed in April. Both Iranian attacks were repelled. Our coalition is strong, and we need the steady leadership that Kamala Harris is providing.
Senator Vance, the U.S. did have a diplomatic deal with Iran to temporarily pause parts of its nuclear program, and President Trump did exit that deal. He recently said, just 5 days ago, the U.S. must now make a diplomatic deal with Iran because the consequences are impossible. Did he make a mistake? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump. Who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years? And the answer is your running mate, not mine. Donald Trump consistently made the world more secure. Now, we talk about the sequence of events that led us to where we are right now, and you can't ignore October the 7th, which I appreciate Governor Walz bringing up. But when did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. So Governor Walz can criticize Donald Trump's tweets, but effective, smart diplomacy and peace through strength is how you bring stability back to a very broken world. Donald Trump has already done it once before. Ask yourself at home, when was the last time, I'm 40 years old, when was the last time that an American president didn't have a major conflict break out? The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. Nora? Margaret, thank you. Let's turn now to Hurricane Helene. The storm could become one of the deadliest on record. More than 160 people are dead and hundreds more are missing. Scientists say climate change makes these hurricanes larger, stronger, and more deadly because of the historic rainfall.
Biggest lie ever, climate
Senator
change.
Vance, according to CBS News polling, 7 in 10 Americans and more than 60% of Republicans under the age of 45
perpetrated on the people is climate change, folks.
Reduce climate change. Senator, what responsibility would the Trump administration have to try and reduce
Al Gore Leone, remember Al Gore Leone?
Sure. So first of all, let's start with the hurricane.
He started that.
Because it's an
Al Gore
unbelievable,
Leone,
unspeakable human tragedy. I just saw
the
today
climate change
photographs
godfather.
Of 2 grandparents on a roof with a 6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever taken of them because the roof collapsed and those innocent people lost their
Many
lives.
businesses came out of that.
Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get to save as many lives as possible, and then of course afterwards to help the people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them I know very personally in Appalachia, all across the Southeast. They need their government to do their job, and I commit that when Donald Trump is president again, the government will put the citizens of this country first when they suffer from a disaster. And Nora, you asked about climate change. I think this is a very important issue. Look, a lot of people are justifiably worried about all these crazy weather patterns. I think it's important for us, first of all, to say Donald Trump and I support clean air, clean water. We want the environment to be cleaner and safer. But one of the things that I've noticed some of our Democratic friends talking a lot about is a concern about carbon emissions, this idea that carbon emissions drives all of the climate change. Well, let's just say that's true, just for the sake of argument, so we're not arguing about weird science. Let's just say that's true. Well, if you believe that, what would you want to do? The answer is that you'd want to restore as much American manufacturing as possible, and you'd want to produce as much energy as possible in the United States of America because we're the cleanest economy in the entire world. What has Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas, more doing business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean the amount of carbon emissions they're doing per unit of economic output. So if we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American people. And unfortunately, Kamala Harris has done exactly the opposite.
Governor Walz, you have 2 minutes to respond.
Well, we got close to an agreement because all those things are happening. Look, first of all, it is a horrific tragedy with this hurricane. And my heart goes out to the folks that are down there in contact with the governors. I serve as co-chair of the Council of Governors as we work together on these emergency managements. Governors know no partisanship. They work together because all of the governors and the emergency responders are on the ground. Those happen on the front end. The federal government comes in, makes sure they're there so that we recover. But we're still in that phase where we need to make sure that they're staying focused. Now, look, coming back to the climate change issue, there's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen.
Look at sponsors.
Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax.
Yeah, I need over the air over here.
Would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in.
I need to put over the air here. But the problem is when I split it,
administration is we've seen
plus his TV's not that good.
We've seen massive investments.
I'm really thinking about bringing a 55-inch in here.
That we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act has created jobs.
I'm really thinking about bringing a 55-inch mounted on the wall here.
Ohio, taking the EV technology that we invented
and then use this screen and a second screen, or hook it to the computer.
Manufacturing plant in North America.
I think about doing a live stream with the 55-inch behind me.
Change is real. They've seen 500-year droughts.
I'm really thinking about that.
Floods back to back. But what they're doing is,
but of course, I can't show this
allow them to tell me, look, I harvest corn.
YouTube will kill the stream in 2 seconds.
We're producing more natural gas and more oil at any time than we ever have. We're also producing more clean energy. So the solution for us is to continue to move forward. That climate change is real. Reducing our impact is absolutely critical, but this is not a false choice. You can do that at the same time you're creating the jobs that we're seeing all across the country. That's exactly what this administration has done. We are seeing us becoming an energy superpower for the future, not just the current. And that's what absolutely makes sense. And then we start thinking about how do we mitigate these disasters.
Thank you. Senator, I want to give you an opportunity to respond there. The governor mentioned that President Trump has called.
It's funny how the audio isn't an issue. The same with Major League Baseball on the radio.
That the Democrats,
football,
in particular Kamala Harris and her leadership, if they really believe that climate change is serious, what they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America, and that's not what they're doing. So clearly Kamala Harris herself doesn't believe her own rhetoric on this. If she did, she would actually agree with Donald Trump's energy policy. Now, something
I don't know. That's weird because I seen people post. I seen people post like
energy. I think that's the
football game, baseball game. No, it happened here, even with baseball.
Leadership. And
I try to stream a baseball game here on this channel.
Hundreds of millions or even billions of
dollars. This is when I first made this channel
that are made in China.
I think it was a playoff game. It was
making more of those solar panels here in the United States of America.
I forgot it was the Mets. And it was like 2 years ago.
Overseas in China.
I forgot who was playing. And it was a playoff game.
Into those solar panels. So if you really,
I thought it was okay.
The environment.
So I posted the game, and I had it in an angle like this.
Nuclear facility, I think, won in the past 40 years.
Right.
Natural gas. We got
see the delay. There's a big delay right now. But I had it like in an angle. I had it like in an angle.
Governor, would you like to respond?
I had it in an angle, and I still got my screen shut down.
On that. We're producing more oil, but folks
know it wasn't even directly at the screen.
Again,
it was in an angle.
Liberal folks, these are not folks that are Green New Deal.
And I had the audio like this,
that have been drought,
and I got shut down.
Massive flooding the next year.
10 minutes.
That it makes sense. Look,
10 minutes in, I got shut down.
Export cannot be topsoil.
It was a baseball
game from these massive storms. We saw it in Minnesota this
summer. It was
summer.
on Fox.
And thinking about how do we respond to that, we're thinking ahead on this. And what Kamala Harris has been able to do in Minnesota, we're starting to weatherproof some of these things. The infrastructure law that was passed allows us.
When I got shut down, I can't even rebroadcast. It says,
sure we're protecting
can I be watching anyway? So I had to delete the video.
Protecting lakefronts and things that we're seeing more and more of. But to call it a hoax.
But I didn't get no strike or nothing like that.
Executives to Mar-a-Lago say, give me money.
Well, you don't get a strike for that.
Then I'll let you do whatever
you
you
just
want.
get your stream shut down.
Smarter about that, and an all-above energy policy is exactly what she's doing, creating those jobs right here.
Governor, your time is up. The overwhelming consensus among scientists is that the Earth's climate is warming at an unprecedented rate. Margaret?
Thank you, Nora. We're going to turn now to immigration. The crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border consistently ranks as one of the top issues for American
voters. I want to see what answers.
Senator Vance, your campaign is pledging to carry out the largest mass deportation in American history.
And she wants to make it sound bad already. There should be a massive deportation.
Could you be more specific about exactly how this will work?
You know how the way she words it right away. She wants to, you're gonna send people back to their country. They shouldn't go back anyway.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies. 94 executive orders suspending deportations.
They make it sound like deportation is a bad word now.
Aliens, massively increasing
the legal aliens that
exist in our system. That has opened the floodgates. And what it's meant is that a lot of fentanyl is coming into our country. I had a mother who struggled with opioid addiction and has gotten clean. I don't want people who are struggling with addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl into our communities at record levels. So you've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to re-implement Donald Trump's border policies, build the wall, re-implement deportation.
Lesson noted. Over the year next time.
So we've got 25 million illegal aliens who are here in the country. What do we do with them? I think the first thing that we do is
run it over the air.
About 1 million of those people have committed some form of crime in addition to crossing the border illegally.
Extremely horrible with over the
deportations on those.
Compared to the radius,
and then I think you make it harder for illegal aliens to undercut the wages of American workers. A lot of people will go home if they can't work for less than minimum wage in our own country. And by the way, that'll be really good for our workers who just want to earn a fair wage for doing a good day's work. And the final point, Margaret, is you asked about family separation. Right now in this country, Margaret, we have 320,000 children that the Department of Homeland Security has effectively lost. Some of them have been sex trafficked. Some of them hopefully are at homes with their families. Some of them have been used as drug trafficking mules. The real family separation policy in this country is unfortunately Kamala Harris's wide open southern border. And I'd ask my fellow Americans to remember when she came into office, she said she was going to do this. Real leadership would be saying, you know what, I screwed up. We're going to go back to Donald Trump's border policies. I wish that she would do that. It would be good for all of us.
Governor, do you care to respond to any of the specific allegations, including that the vice president is, quote, letting in fentanyl and using kids as drug mules, among other things, regarding children?
The drug mule is not true, but I will say about the fentanyl, because this is a crisis of this, the opioid crisis. And the good news on this is the last 12 months saw the largest decrease in opioid deaths in our nation's history. 30% decrease in Ohio, but there's still more work to do. But let's go back to this on immigration. Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the largest state, a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all
I love how they practice all these lines.
Most of us want to solve this, and that is.
She's just a great prosecutor. She can't even talk.
Patrol agents.
If she's just a great prosecutor, why can't she even answer
That's why we had
simple questions?
And the toughest bill on.
I never knew anybody that was such a.
It was crafted by.
Good public speaker, and they can't answer questions.
I know he's super conservative, but he's a man of principle. Wants to get it done. Democrats and Republicans worked on this piece of legislation.
Seriously,
the Border Patrol said this is.
They don't go hand in hand.
These are the experts, and the Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street Journal said, "Pass this thing." Kamala Harris helped get there. 1,500 new border agents.
So I remember my senior project.
Drugs. DOJ money to.
I had to go up in the classroom and verbally talk about my senior project. And I had 2 other classmates that were involved in the project.
Trump said no, told them to vote against it.
And the area that I was talking about, I knew everything about it. I had no issue going up there talking about, but even though I was a shy person,
by the legislature,
when you know your stuff, you're just talking.
So look, we have the options to do this. Donald Trump,
of course, when you script it,
get 4 years to do this. And he promised.
Guess what happened to my other 2 classmates? They failed.
Big, beautiful wall.
Because they didn't know the subject.
Less than 2% of that.
They were trying to piggyback off of me.
Didn't pay a dime. But here we are again.
In other words, when you know what you're talking about,
dehumanizing
people listen.
People and telling them what he was going to do.
When you're reading off teleprompters all the time,
at one point,
people get tuned off. They say, "Yeah, you."
Laughable.
In other words, you're bullshitting.
Pass the bill. She'll sign it.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, the question was, will you separate parents from their children?
The question, he didn't answer the question.
Kids are U.S. citizens. You have 1 minute.
Margaret, my point is that we already have massive child separation thanks to Kamala Harris's open border. I didn't accuse Kamala Harris of inviting drug mules. I said that she enabled the Mexican drug cartel.
Exactly. She already, see how she's already, she's already trying to.
Drug mules, and it is a disgrace, and it has to stop. Look, I think what Tim said just doesn't pass the smell test. For 3 years, Kamala Harris went out bragging that she was going to undo Donald Trump's border policy. She did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings. We had a record number of fentanyl coming into our country. And now that she's running for president,
let's say it like it is.
She says that somehow she got religion and cared a lot about a piece of legislation. The
only last thing you're going to see a man drinking a beer and talking about the debate.
Vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States of America. Parents who can't afford
people can't see that. If you people can't see that one correlates with the other,
time is up, Governor.
Then you just
our CBS News poll,
what they call Trump derangement syndrome.
50% support mass deportation.
Look,
never let the country go to hell.
With a bill that is
then vote for the common sense.
On this is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this. And Senator Vance, and it surprises me on this, talking about and saying, I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield. The Republican governor said, it's not true. Don't do it. There's consequences for this. There's consequences. We could come together. Senator Langford did it. We could come together and solve this.
This is the party that tells people
Donald Trump continue to make it an issue.
That they need to eliminate somebody.
In Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but by standing with Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution.
This is the party of people that want to.
And when it becomes a talking point like
this, they're going to bring it up soon. They're going to talk about abortion.
Other human beings.
Tim, Governor, your time is up. Senator, I'll give you 1 minute, but let me just ask you the question first. The governor has made the point, and I think as a sitting lawmaker, you know that Congress controls the purse strings and any funding. So you have said repeatedly that Donald Trump would, through executive action, solve this. Do you disagree that Congress controls the purse strings and would need to support many of the changes that you would actually want to implement? You have 1 minute.
Look, Margaret, first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job. I've been to the southern border more than our borders are. Kamala Harris has been, and it's actually heartbreaking because the Border Patrol agents, they just want to be empowered to do their job. Of course, additional resources would help, but most of this is about the president and the vice president empowering our law enforcement to say, if you try to come across the border illegally, you've got to stay in Mexico, you've got to go back through proper channels. Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio,
every time I hear Springfield, I'm thinking about the Simpsons.
Across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed.
The
You've got
Simpsons.
hospitals that are overwhelmed. You've got housing that is totally unaffordable.
Oh my
because
God,
you've brought in
Springfield.
millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm
The
most worried about in
Simpsons.
Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, you have 1 minute to respond.
Yeah, well, it is law enforcement that asked for the bill. They helped craft it. They're the ones that supported it. That's because they know we need to do this. Look, this issue of continuing to bring this up, of not dealing with it, of blaming migrants for everything. On housing, we could talk a little bit about Wall Street speculators buying up housing and making them less affordable, but it becomes a blame. Look, this bill also
Yeah, but they are
money
part of the
necessary
blame because
to adjudicate. I agree. It should not take 7 years for an asylum claim to be done. This bill gets it done in 90 days. Then you start to make a difference in this,
90
and you
days.
start to adhere to what we know, American principles. I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about, to the least amongst us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want order.
they don't know that
This
it's not
bill does it.
sustainable when you
It's
let everybody
funded.
in.
It's supported by the people who do it, and it lets
And
us
it's not
keep our
good.
dignity about how we
I mean,
treat
look at
other
Europe.
people.
Look at
Thank you,
England.
Governor. And just to clarify,
Look at
for our viewers,
France.
Springfield, Ohio does have
Look
a
at
large
France.
number
You
of
can't recognize the
migrants
country no
who
more.
have legal status, temporary
You
protection.
cannot let everybody in.
But
Thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
We're
because
going to turn out of the
the big
economy.
thing,
Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that
The
you guys were
economy,
going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important
Exactly.
to say
See,
what's
they go with the
actually
fact
going on.
checking shit.
So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That
Thank
is
you,
the
Senator.
facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by
Thank
our
you,
own
Senator, for
leadership.
describing the legal
And
process.
Kamala
We have
Kamala
so much
Harris
to get
opened up
to,
that
Senator.
pathway.
Those
We have
laws have
so
been
much-
on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
We
CBP
wanna have-
One app has not been on the books.
Gentlemen,
They muted. See, they
the
muted.
audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process. Nora?
Thank you,
It was
Margaret.
going okay until
The
she started with the
economy
fact
is a
check
top
shit.
concern for voters. Each of your campaigns has released
You know?
an economic plan, so let's talk about the specifics. Governor Walz, Vice President Harris unveiled a plan that includes billions in tax
You know that
credits
shit was
for
gonna happen.
manufacturing, housing, and a renewed child tax credit. The Wharton School says your proposals will increase the nation's deficit by $1.2 trillion. How would you pay for that without ballooning the deficit? Governor, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And Kamala Harris and I do believe in the middle class because that's where we come from. We both grew up in that. We understand.
That's
So
a
those
lie.
of you out there listening tonight, you're hearing a lot of stuff back and forth, and it's good. It's healthy. That's what this is supposed to happen. You should be listening. How's this going to impact me?
She was not middle
the
class.
forward plan that Kamala Harris put out there is
My
one.
father
that's
was a
talking about this housing
PhD
issue. The
professor.
one thing is,
You know how much a
there's 3
PhD professor
million new
makes?
houses proposed under this plan with down payment.
And then
assistance
mother,
on the
forget it. It
front
was
end.
like,
Now,
and they lived
a
in
house
Canada,
is
by the way. It
much
was
more than just an asset to be traded somewhere. It's
She said that lie
foundational
about
to
she
where
worked
you're
at
at.
McDonald's.
And
That's a
then making
lie.
sure that
That's
the
a
things you
fucking
buy
lie.
every day, whether they be prescription drugs or other things,
I had to work at
that there's
McDonald's.
fairness in that. Look, the $35 insulin is a good thing, but it costs $5 to make insulin. They were charging $800 before this law
I had to
went
work
into
at
effect.
Mickey D's.
As far as the housing goes, I've seen it in Minnesota. 12%
And
more
somebody
housing in
asked about what you was
prices went
doing to
down on
Mickey
rent
D's.
4%. It's working.
Oh, I
And
was in
then
charge of the
making sure tax cuts
fries.
go to the middle class.
Something like that.
$6,000 child
There's
tax credit
there's
we have one
no
in
fry
Minnesota
department.
reduces
We only
childhood
do
poverty by a third.
fries.
We save money in the long run.
I've
and we do
seen
the right
people.
thing
I
for
never worked
families.
at Mickey
And
D's,
then
by the way.
getting businesses
But
off the
I
ground.
see
The
you see
laws
people working at
expand
Mickey. They
$5,000
multitask.
tax credit for small business, increasing that to $50,000.
Sometimes the manager has to do all that.
Philosophical difference between us.
But yeah,
Donald
they
Trump
backed up.
made a promise, and I'll give you this.
They
He
throw
kept
the
it.
fries in
He
the
took folks to
thing.
Mar-a-Lago.
They got
said, "You're
everything
gonna
has a
get your tax cut."
timer.
He gave the tax cuts that predominantly went to the top pass.
So
What
she
happened
said
there was
she did their
an $8
fries.
trillion
You know, that was a
increase in
lie.
the national debt,
You
the
don't
largest
just do
ever. Now he's
fries.
proposing a 20% consumption or sales tax on everything we bring in. Everyone agrees, including businesses.
Somebody
that
try to
we
catch
should
on
be
that.
stabilizing it.
By
It
the
will
way, when you
increase
do the
inflation and
McDonald's, oh, I was
potentially
in
lead
charge of
to
the
a recession.
fries.
Look, this is simple for you. Where are we going? Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do, we'll just have the wealthiest to pay their fair share.
Anybody that
When you
worked
do
at
that,
any
our
job,
system works best.
especially
More
when you
people
do a
are
job like
participating in
that,
it, and folks
you could do
have the things that they
anything
need.
when they ask you
Senator, I want
to.
to give you a moment to respond on that. But similarly, the Wharton School has
Okay,
done an
sometimes they put you in the
analysis of the
cashier.
Trump plan.
Sometimes they
and
put you at
said
the
it would
drive-through.
increase the nation's
Sometimes they put you in the
deficit
back
by
doing flipping
5.8
burgers.
trillion.
Sometimes they put you
My
right there with
question is
the.
the same for you.
You just don't
How do
get
you
one
pay for all
spot.
that
That's a
without
lie.
ballooning the deficit? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, you're going to hear a
Sorry,
lot
I'm talking
from
over
Tim
the
Walz this
debate.
evening.
Sorry.
You just heard it in the answer. A lot of what
This is
Kamala Harris proposes to do, and some of it, I'll be honest
kind of
with you,
boring,
it
though.
even
I'm kind of
sounds
getting
pretty
bored.
good. Here's what you won't hear, is that Kamala Harris has already done it. Because she's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies, and what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food
See, Trump was
higher
funny,
by
though.
25%.
They're
Drive
eating
cost
the
of housing
dogs. They're
higher
eating
by
the
about
cats.
60%. Open the American southern border and
Remember
make
that?
middle class life unaffordable.
They
for
made
a
a whole
large
bunch
number
of
Americans.
videos on
Kamala
that
Harris
already.
has such great plans
Remember
for how
that?
to address
They're
middle class
eating the
problems,
dogs.
and she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the
See, this is
American people
boring.
gave
I'm
her
gonna say
3.5
it's
years
kind of
ago.
boring.
And the fact that
It's
she
kind of
isn't
boring.
tells you a lot about how much you can trust.
I was
her
hoping this
actual
guy would
plans.
just like.
Now,
I was
Donald
hoping
Trump's
he'd be like,
economic
pow,
plan
pow,
is
pow
not just a
already.
plan, but it's also a record. A lot of those same
I was hoping
economists
he'd be
attack
like, you
Donald
know,
Trump's plans, and they have PhDs, but they don't have common
yeah,
sense,
remix.
and they don't
They're
have
eating the
wisdom.
dogs.
Because Donald Trump's economic policies to
You
deliver
seen
the
a TikTok
highest
video when it's eating the
take-home
dog and the
pay
dog
in a
reacts?
generation in this country,
Have you seen those
1.5%
videos?
inflation, and
They're
worse,
eating the
peace and
dogs. They're
security
eating
all
it,
over the world. So when
and the
people
dog
say that
reacts.
Donald Trump's economic plan doesn't make sense, I say look at the record. He delivered rising take-home pay for American workers. Now, Tim admirably admits that they want to undo the Trump tax cuts. But if you look at what was so different about Donald Trump's tax cuts, even
I
from
seen a lot of
previous
they're
Republican
funny.
tax cut plans, is that a lot of those resources went to giving more
You see the
take-home pay to
reaction? They're
middle
like,
class and working class Americans. It was passed
yeah,
in
on YouTube also. Yeah,
2017,
they have
and
on
we saw
YouTube.
an
Yeah.
American
See the
economic
reaction?
boom
They're eating the
unlike we've
dogs.
seen in a generation in this country. That is a record that I'm proud to run on, and we're going to get back to that common sense wisdom so that you can afford to live the American dream again. I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a lot of you are worried about paying the bills. It's going to stop when Donald Trump brings back common sense to this country.
I was hoping this guy would have a melt. Timmy have a meltdown by now.
Day
But
one was Donald Trump's failure on COVID that led to the collapse of our economy. We were already before COVID in a manufacturing recession, but 10 million people out of work, largest percentage since the Great Depression. 9 million jobs closed on that. That was day one. Whether it was the Infrastructure Act or other things we moved. Now, you made a question about experts, said this. I've made a note of this. Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security folks can't be trusted. Look, if you're going to be president, you don't have all the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My
one had a fork in the frame with a dog.
Heart surgery. Listen to the people at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, not Donald Trump. And the same thing goes with this. And I ask you out there, teachers.
No, they made some funny videos of that clip.
How is it fair that you're paying your taxes?
Like the next day, there was a whole bunch of TikTok.
In the last 15 years. The last year's
I was scrolling, everything was like,
there's a way around it.
They're eating the dogs.
We're just asking for fairness in it.
And they see the dogs like reacting like,
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shift our manufacturing base off to China, we get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shift our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less
productive in our own nation that would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore. We're bringing American manufacturing back. We're unleashing American energy. We're going to make more of our own stuff. And this isn't just an economic issue. And I've got 3 beautiful little kids at home, 7, 4, and 2. And I love them very much, and I hope they're in bed right now. But look, so many of the drugs, the pharmaceuticals that we put in the bodies of our children are manufactured by nations that hate us. This has to stop, and we're not going to stop it by listening to experts. We're going to stop it by listening to common sense wisdom, which is what Donald Trump governed on.
Senator, Governor Walz, can you address that? I mean, voters say they trust Donald Trump on the economy more. Why?
If you're listening tonight and you want billionaires to get tax cuts, you heard what the numbers were. Look, I'm a union guy on this. I'm not a guy who wanted to ship things overseas, but I understand that, look, we produce soybeans and corn. We need to have fair trading partners. That's something that we believe in. I think the thing that most concerns me on this is Donald Trump was the guy who created the largest trade deficit in American history with China. So the rhetoric is good. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. I watched it happen too. I watched it to my community, and we talked about that. But we had people undercutting the right to collectively bargain. We had right to work states made it more difficult. We had companies that were willing to ship it over, and we saw people profit. Folks that are venture capital in some cases, putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home. The issue is Donald Trump is talking about it. Kamala Harris has a record, 250,000 more manufacturing jobs just out of the IRA. May I respond to that?
Yes.
So appreciate that. So if you notice, what Governor Walz just did is he said, first of all, Donald Trump has to listen to the experts. And then when he acknowledged that the experts screwed up, he said, well, Donald Trump didn't do nearly as good of a job as the
that's a gross
that he
generalization.
did. So what Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here, because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens.
It's almost unwatchable right now.
I was raised by a woman who would sometimes go into medical debt so that she could put food on the table in our household. I know what it's like.
I should have took my indoor antenna and put it in and throw it out the window.
We can do so much.
The channel 2, usually I can get it down here like that.
Get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principles.
I hope we have a conversation on healthcare then.
Senator, Governor.
Please.
Thank you. Margaret? We have a lot to get to ahead. Gentlemen,
that's what she said. We have a lot to get to.
I want to talk about personal qualifications. The vice president is often the last voice the president hears before making consequential decisions. We want to ask you about your leadership qualities. Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989.
I haven't heard it for a long time, but now that I hear her,
radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
And before she used to just read the news, that was it.
I didn't get at the top of this. Look, I grew up in small rural.
I guess they're gonna take a break soon.
Town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher.
Well, these debates are stupid because there's no audience.
My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89
I don't know,
to travel to China.
I don't know why they did that with no
To
audience.
be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth to China. The issue for that was to try and learn. Now look, my
I think because of the COVID thing,
they saw where I was.
I guess I got used to not having an audience.
I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times. But it's always been about that. Those same people.
Like, it would have been better with an audience at least.
For 12 years, and in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people.
No, I'm not doing that. Not with that TV. I can't. But that TV's heavy, and it's on a glass table. So if I try to move the TV, I don't want to run the risk of putting stress on that glass and
make sure that I'm
it breaks.
To make sure that I get this right.
That TV's heavy for 42 inch.
Many times I will talk.
Right now it's on a glass coffee table.
In the rhetoric.
But
being there,
Even
the
moving,
impact
I get
it made,
nervous.
the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China.
Even
I
a
hear
thick
every piece of this.
glass.
I would make the case that Donald
Even a
Trump should
thick
have come on one
glass.
of those trips with us. I guarantee you,
Yeah,
he
even
wouldn't
a
be,
thick glass. I don't want to
praising
take that
Xi
chance.
Jinping about COVID, and I guarantee you, he wouldn't start.
Because
a
I'm
trade
moving
war
that
that he
soon.
ends
I'm
up
going to move all
losing.
this out of
So
here.
this is about trying to understand the world.
I'm going to put
It's
one
about
on the
trying
wall.
to
I'm going to
do
mount
the
one on
best
the
you can
wall,
for
and
your
then
community. And then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good
yeah,
at,
that's
or whether it was
temporary.
being a good soldier, or was being a good
But I
member of
realized that
Congress,
glass
those are the
table,
things that I think are the values
my
that people
55
care
inches
about.
lighter than this one.
Governor,
Remember, this is an
to follow
older
up on
TV.
that, the question
This
was,
is
can
older.
you
It's thick.
explain
It's this
No,
wide in the
Justin,
back.
all I said on this was I
Thick.
got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just.
That's an
That's what I
RCA.
said.
Remember, that's the one I found.
So I was
Remember, that's the
in
one I found in the street,
Hong
down the
Kong
block.
in China during the democracy protest.
42-inch.
And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Vance, in 2016,
I'm
you
going to put
called
that
your
on a
running mate
table
Donald
eventually.
Trump unfit
Maybe I'll hook
for the
up a
nation's
gaming,
highest office, and you said
like
he
an
stood
old
the
gaming,
American people.
maybe I'll hook up the
I
Amiga
know
to it
you
or something.
said,
I
you've
don't
been
know.
asked many times, and you said you regret those comments and explained you then voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But the Washington
I know what
Post
to do with it
reported
now.
new
I found
messages
it. I may
last
just put it
week
in the
in which he
garage.
also disparaged Trump's economic record while he was president.
I found that. It works. I just need to get the remote.
Thoroughly failed to deliver his economic populism.
I'm going to order the remote finally because I can't do the buttons on the side.
And you've shifted many of your policy stances to align with his. If you become vice
they
president,
threw it out.
why should Americans trust
I guess
that
because
you
they put
will
a new
give
TV
Donald Trump the
and they
advice
threw this one out.
he
I
needs
took it.
to hear, and not just the advice he wants to hear? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open. And sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that works for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be honest with the American people about it. It's one of the reasons, Margaret, why I've done so many interviews is because I think it's important to actually explain to the American people where I come down on the issues and what changed. Now, you pointed out the messages from 2020. Margaret, I've been extremely consistent that I think there were a lot of things that we could have done better in the Trump administration in the first round if Congress was doing its job. I strongly believe, and I've been a United States Senator, that Congress is not just a high-class debating society. It's not just a forum for senators and congressmen to whine about problems. It's a forum to govern. So there were a lot of things on the border, on tariffs, for example, where I think that we could have done so much more if the Republican Congress and the Democrats in Congress had been a little bit better about how they govern the country. They were so obsessed with impeaching Donald Trump, they couldn't actually govern. I want to talk about this tariff issue in particular, Margaret, because to just accuse this of being a national sales tax. Look, the one thing, and you're probably surprised to hear me praising Joe Biden, but the one thing that Joe Biden did is he continued some of the Trump tariffs that protected American manufacturing jobs. And it's the one issue, the most pro-worker part of the Biden administration.
Like a delay and a
one
half,
issue
man.
where Kamala Harris has run away from Joe Biden's record. Think about this.
No, I gotta rearrange this soon.
Laborers in China at $3 a day. You're going to do that and undercut the wages of American
workers. Because I bought another standing desk.
Our country stands up for itself and says,
a smaller one,
though, our markets unless you're paying middle-class Americans a fair wage.
Senator, your time is up. Nora, thank you.
It was like under $100.
Right. Governor Walz, after Roe versus Wade was
now I can hold up to
overturned,
176
you signed a bill
pounds.
into law
So I may
to
put
make
that one on a
Minnesota
standing
one of the
desk.
least restrictive states in the nation when it comes to abortion. Former President Trump said in the last
I may just use a standing desk for that one.
Abortion, quote,
and put it, but I don't know yet. I'm thinking about putting a 55-inch right on this wall.
Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look, this issue is what's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion. He brags about how great it was that he put the judges in and overturned Roe versus Wade, 52 years of personal autonomy. And then he tells us, oh, we send it
Here
to
we
the
go
states.
with the banning. Not banning it.
Just Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks. She has a complication, a tear in the membrane. She needs to go in. The medical care at that point needs to be decided by the doctor. And that would have been an abortion. But in Texas, that would have put them in legal jeopardy. She went home, got sepsis, nearly dies, and now she may have difficulty having children. Or in Kentucky, Hadley Duval, a 12-year-old child, raped and impregnated by her stepfather. Those are horrific. Now, when God asked about that, Senator Vance said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is no right in this. So in Minnesota, what we did was restore Roe versus Wade. We made sure that we put women in charge of their health care. But look, this is not where, if you don't know Amanda or a Hadley, you soon will. Their Project 2025 is going to have a registry of pregnancies. It's going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to get contraception and limit access, if not eliminate access to infertility treatments. For so many of you out there listening, me included, infertility treatments are why I have a child. That's nobody else's business, but those things are being proposed. And the catch-all on this is, well, the states will decide. What's right for Texas might not be right for Washington.
And you're the flat screen on
how this
much
works.
lighter.
This is basic human right. We have seen maternal mortality skyrocket in Texas, outpacing many other countries in the world.
And still, my antenna sometimes it flickers.
In Minnesota, we are ranked first in healthcare for a reason.
Like, I wonder which one the leads for.
We trust doctors.
I still got to put that total poll on there.
Will you create a federal pregnancy monitoring agency?
No, certainly we won't. And I want to talk about this issue because I know a lot of Americans care about it, and I know a lot of Americans don't agree with everything that I've ever said on this topic. And, you know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies and decided to terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't
horrible
have any
delay, man. The hell, man.
One of them is actually very dear to me, and I know she's watching tonight, and I love you. And she told me something a couple years ago that she felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly
I didn't get my package today again.
Innocent life in this country, who proudly
who's supposed to be here yesterday?
Is that my party? We've got
my
to do
second
so much
hotspot
better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue.
I'm telling you, the Postal Service is. I was talking about that earlier.
Things that Donald Trump and
like when I went to send your package. Oh my God!
As a Republican Party, to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want to.
Yonkers has the worst postal
service.
It
easier for moms to.
I thought New York City was bad.
Yonkers make it easier for young families to afford a
home. I had a
to raise that family. And I think there's so much
I had to do click and ship
on the public.
So I made an account
just to give women
USPS.com. I created an account,
Donald Trump has been
and I paid it online.
Abortion policy,
and I printed out the thing. That's what I wanted to
and it's diverse.
Shipping you the radio.
California has a different viewpoint on this.
I use click and ship.
Georgia has a different viewpoint from Arizona, and the proper
because
way
the lines on
democracy sometimes is to let.
Because I went to the main post office in Yonkers.
Let the individual states make their abortion policy, and I think that's what makes the most sense in a very
the line is super long. They don't have nothing right there that you can fill it out before you go on the line.
Governor, would you like to respond and also answer the question about restrictions?
So you got to make a line just to ask for the paper, and then you got to fill it out, and then you got to make another line again. So I'm not doing all that. That's
crazy. Let me tell you about this idea that they're diverse states. There's a young woman named Amber Thurman. She happened to be in Georgia, a restricted state. Because of that, she had to travel a long distance to North Carolina to try and get her care.
So I want to do click and ship.
In that journey back
so and forth. I paid about $6 and change. Yeah.
How can we
so I did click and ship.
Say that your life and your rights.
Yeah, click and ship. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
Is determined on
so I did click it. No, I learned something now. I'm gonna do that from now on when I deliver a package. When I send a package to anybody, I'm gonna do click and ship.
That's why the restoration of.
So I did click and ship.
You listen to Vice President Harris.
You know, you got to put the dimensions of the box. Do you require signature? I put no.
Figure out how to get the political right of this. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance.
Do you want to put like you know you gotta ask a whole bunch of questions. You put the weight. I estimated the weight. I'm gonna buy a little scale just for that.
Referring to a national ban.
Eventually,
you have supported.
It was like $6 and change. It was fine.
After 15 weeks.
So I printed it out the next day. I went to the other postal service.
Like that. Quote, you are making
by South Broadway, and I went in there. I just put it. I just gave it to her. She took it. That's it.
My question is, Why have you
Much
changed
better
your
than the
position?
main one. The
Well,
main
Laura,
post
first of
office,
all, I never
they're
supported a
horrible.
national ban.
So I went to the
I
other
did
post
during when I was
office
running for
nearby.
Senate in 2022
I
talk
took
about
it there
setting some
already.
international standard. For example,
The way you
we
saw,
were
you
talking
saw
about the
the
abortion ban in this
I
in
taped
place
it on
in this
top,
country at the federal level. I don't think
and
anybody's
they just
trying to
took
get
it
rid
and
of
said,
that, or
okay,
at least
that's
I
it.
hope not. So I
Say,
know
yeah,
that
that's it.
Democrats
You're good
have
to go. I
taken
said,
a very
okay, thank
radical
you, and
pro-abortion
that's it.
stance. But Nora, you know, one of the things that
So
changed
click and ship is a
is
lot
in the state
better,
of Ohio, we had a referendum in
much better.
2023, and the people of Ohio
I'll
voted
do from now
overwhelmingly,
on. I'm
by
gonna
the
do
way,
click and ship.
against my
That's it.
position. And I
That's what
think
it's
that
called,
what I
click and
learned from
ship.
that, Nora, is that we've got to do a better job
You
at
just gotta
winning
print
back
out though.
people's
You gotta
trust.
print
So
it out
many
though.
young women would love to have families.
You
So
print it
many
out
young
and
women
that's it.
also see an unplanned
You got the
pregnancy as something
barcode
that's
on
going
it,
to destroy their livelihood, destroy their
and that's
education,
it.
destroy their relationships. And
The
we
only thing
have
they tell
got
you not
to
to put
earn
tape over the
people's trust
barcode.
back. And that's
So when
why
you put the
Donald Trump
paper
and I
on
are
top of
committed
the
to pursuing
package,
pro-family
you gotta tape
policies,
the
making
edges, but
childcare
don't tape the
more
barcode.
accessible, making
But some
fertility
people
treatments more
complain that
accessible, because we've got to
if you
do
get a
a better
little,
job at that.
if
And
the
that's what
package
new
gets
leadership
wet,
is.
Governor, your response.
I'm going to
that the
respond
barcode
on the
smears and
pro-abortion
that's
piece
it.
of that. No, we're
But
not.
you
We're
know that wasn't the case because I
We're
see this
pro-freedom
package.
to make your own choice. We know what the
Yeah, print
implications
your own
are
label.
to not be that. Women having miscarriages, women not getting the care, physicians feeling like they may be.
But if you put the tape over the label, just be careful.
Care.
You know, as
And
long
as
as people
far
can
as
scan the
making sure
barcode.
that we're
The main
educating
thing
our
is the
children and giving them
barcode.
options, Minnesota's a
You gotta
state
put
with one of
tape.
the lowest teen
Make
pregnancy
sure you
rates.
put it right on the
We
barcode
understand
so when
that
they
too.
scan
We
it,
know that the options need to be
that's
available,
it.
and we make that true. We also make it, we're a top 3 state for the best place to raise children. But these two things to try and
It's
say
much better.
that
It's
we're
hassle-free.
pro-children, but we don't like this.
So I went to the other post office
That's not
with the
case at all.
package.
We are
I walked over there. It's a
pro-freedom
few
for women to
blocks
make their
down the other
choices,
way.
and we're going, and Kamala
It's
Harris
like
is making the case to
15-minute
make
walk
options for
from
children
here
more affordable, a
to
$6,000
the other
child
one.
tax credit.
I
But
went
we're
in
not
there.
gonna
Nobody
base
was
that
in
on
that
the
boat. It
fact
was
of
only
making someone like Amber
one
Thurman
woman behind the
drive
counter.
600 miles to try and get
I
health
said,
care.
here. I said, here. She said, okay. I
Governor,
said,
I agree with you. Amber
I
Thurman
said, that's
should still
it.
be
She said,
alive,
yeah,
and a
you're good
lot
to
of
go.
people
Thank
should
you.
still be alive, and I certainly wish that she was.
And I said, she scanned
And
it.
maybe
That's it.
you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this
I
to
gave
me,
it to her.
but
She
as I
scanned it.
read
Said,
the
okay. I said, you're
Minnesota
good to
law
go.
that you signed
I said, okay, thank you.
into law, the statute that you
Much
signed into law,
easier than
it
going to the
says that
main
a
post
doctor
office.
who presides
Much
over an
easier.
abortion where the baby survives,
That's
the
what I'm gonna
doctor
do
is
for now
under
on.
no obligation to
I'm gonna
provide
do
life-saving
click
care
and ship,
to
and
a
I'm gonna
baby
go over
who
there.
survives a botched late
Just
term
drop it off.
abortion.
That's it.
That is, I think,
That's
whether
not
you're
true.
pro-choice or
That's not how it
pro-abortion,
works.
that
Well,
is fundamentally barbaric. And that's why I use that word, Nora, is because some of what we've seen. Do you want to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions
yeah,
against their
you
will?
bring your own
Because
label.
Kamala Harris
Exactly.
is
That's the
supportive
best
to
way.
Catholic nuns
That's the best way when
to
you went over
violate their
there.
freedom of conscience. We can be a big and
Because
diverse
they're not
country
helpful.
where
The
we
problem is
respect
that
people's freedom of
when you go to the
conscience
post
and make
office,
the country
you
more
asking them
pro-baby
for
and
which
pro-family.
label I
Please.
need, which box.
Yes, Governor, please respond.
Look,
They
this is
just
one
try
where
to
there's always
confuse you
something
and
that this
shit.
is a very simple proposition. These are women's decisions to make about their healthcare decisions, and the physicians
And that's another
know
thing,
best
yeah.
when they
Because
need
I
to
could
do
have done that too.
Trying
But
to
yeah,
distort the way the
exactly.
law
I
is
could have done
written
that too.
to try and make a point. That's not it at
What
all.
was I wrong about, Governor? Please,
That package, I could have put it in a mail. Right around the corner is a
I've given
mailbox.
this advice on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Getting involved.
So right around the corner is a mailbox.
The last debate.
A few
But the
years ago,
problem
I
is
could have
that
opened it up and threw it in there, and that was it.
To try and tell women.
But the problem is, I
how to
wanted to
get
be
involved.
scanned because I wanted to track it right away.
Mind your own business.
So I don't mind
And
the
that
walk.
Things worked best when Roe versus Wade was in
I don't
place.
mind the walk to the
When we
post
do
office
a
over here.
restoration of
I didn't
Roe,
mind that.
That works best. That doesn't
But yeah, that
preclude
too.
us
All the
from
ones over here now,
increasing
they have a little
funding
slot
for
now.
children. It doesn't increase us from making sure
You
that
can't
once a
like
child's born, like in
throw
Minnesota,
now they
they
have a
get meals.
slot.
They get early
That's it,
childhood
yeah.
education. They get health care. So that
Yeah, they
how
did
do
that
you
over
know
here
we're
too.
going to do all these other things when you're not proposing them in your budget? Kamala Harris is proposing them. She's proposing all those things to
Yeah.
make life easier for families.
We
I
was
asked a
stealing
specific
mail.
question, Governor. You gave me a slogan.
Yonkers, there was a
It's
problem
not
over
the
here
case.
too about
It's
that.
not true. That's not what the law says.
There was somebody that was breaking
They
into
fact-checked it with
mailboxes.
President Trump.
In fact, they even took the whole mailbox altogether.
We have to move on.
One
We're gonna be right
instance,
back back with much more of the
They ripped it from the ground. They took the whole mailbox.
In just a moment.
They took the whole mailbox. Yeah, it happened in Yonkers. I remember when I first moved here.
Who won and who lost? That's coming up.
Yeah, I remember that. There was a case where they ripped the whole freaking mailbox. I think they cut the bolts, the screws from the ground. They cut them, and I guess they pulled it out with a pickup or something. I don't know what happened. They took the whole mailbox. It was around the holidays. I guess there was a lot of boxes in there.
Due to the extreme discomfort, fear, or simply not prioritizing your own health. Don't wait until it's too late and end up hurting yourself and your family. All women can now get an FDA approved.
I don't remember. I think it was
a breast imaging breakthrough. Say goodbye to the painful and uncomfortable traditional exams and experience real.
I mean, they got caught, but I remember they ripped the mailbox up, and they had done that in a few places.
Better image dense breast tissue.
They got caught.
This can
like
be
they were not, you know, not the smartest people in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
that's 800-426-6975. Manage your own breast health with your physician on your terms. Don't let discomfort or fear keep you from prioritizing your health. Mammograms with no painful compression. At Community Radiology, we care for you. Call 800-426-6975. 800-426-6975.
It's the Rev and the Rabbi every Sunday morning at 7.
This is Rabbi Joseph Batasik. This is Reverend Calvin. Join us every Sunday for the Rev and the Rabbi.
Yeah,
Don't miss the dynamic duo, the Rev and the Rabbi, every Sunday morning at 7. If you miss
I'm gonna
download the 77 WABC app or listen to the podcast at WABCRadio.com.
Join us for the Rev and the Rabbi.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alexa anyway. I'm gonna turn off the stereo. I'm gonna go with Alexa, even though there's a delay on Alexa, but forget it, because this debate is almost half over anyway. I thought I was gonna be back and forth thing, kind of boring. Debate is boring, right? That's boring. It's boring. I'll wait a few minutes, then I'll do it through Alexa. Hello.
Well, hello.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, porch pies are another thing, especially during the holidays. Yeah. See, over here, I have a note, because I don't have a front porch, obviously. You know, it's a brownstone building. I have an alley, and it goes into my backyard. So I got a note in front of my door, and I tell them, all deliveries, put it in the alley, open the gate, and leave it in the alley. Do not leave it in front of my door on the open. Please put it in the alley, I tell them. So 99% of the time, they leave it in the alley. It's once in a while, I get an Amazon guy. I don't know if he's too nervous to come in the alley. He'll leave it right in front of my freaking door. You know? Also, SpeedX. SpeedX, you know, SpeedX. This is AliExpress. They hire SpeedX. That's a private company now. That's another delivery company, SpeedX. So SpeedX, 7 days a week. They come sometime early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. They'll put it in front of my door. Boom. Right there in front of my door. Sometimes they don't read the note. Sometimes they'll bring it in and leave it in the alley. But sometimes, I don't know, they don't read the sign. They leave it right in front of my door. So when you order from AliExpress, you're gonna probably get it. 99% of the time now it's gonna be SpeedX. SpeedX. So that's a private, yeah. Okay. Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
For the Bronx, New York, with a high school
yeah, Pluto's still in commercial right now. It's so delayed, look.
Salary $76,128 annually. Email resume to Benny, CESTRAS.
I'm not gonna bother. I don't care about it. You know, to be honest, I don't care. Right now it's boring.
O'Reilly here. America is at a breaking point.
Boring.
Record inflation.
It's a boring debate.
The last thing we need is more reckless.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter. Early voting already started.
But a Harris presidency
so
bring
early voting already started, so it doesn't, you know.
Was a hit to your retirement savings. So protect your savings with American Hartford.
Yeah.
We'll help you secure your retirement by diversifying with
There you go.
physical
Now they,
gold and silver.
yeah,
Start
now
with a
they've
simple phone call.
no, this
So
one is
guide you through
delayed.
the process.
Jesus
We will
Christ.
deliver gold and silver right to your door.
Democrats claim it would curb
There you
gun
go.
violence. You oppose red flag gun laws and legislation to ban certain semi-automatic rifles, including AR-15s. So let me ask you, earlier this year, for the first time, the parents of a school shooter were convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Do you think holding parents responsible could curb mass shootings? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, Nora, on that particular case, I don't know the full details, but I certainly trust local law enforcement and local authorities to make those decisions. I think in some cases the answer is going to be yes, and in some cases the answer is going to be no.
That doesn't
And the
matter.
details really matter here, of course. For example, if a kid steals a gun, that's going to be different than if a parent hands over a gun knowing that their kid is potentially dangerous. Look, I want to just sort of speak as a father of 3 beautiful little kids, and our oldest is now in 2nd grade. And like a lot of parents, we send our kids to school with such hope and such joy and such pride at their little faces on the first day of school. And we know, unfortunately, that a lot of kids are going to experience this terrible epidemic of gun violence. And of course, our hearts go out to the families that are affected by this terrible
Hey, were
stuff.
you watching
And we
it?
do have to do better. And I think that Governor Walz and I actually
Alexa,
agreed.
volume 3. I don't want to hear this debate anymore. I'm already getting fed up. So you know what? I'm gonna say it. I agree with you. You know what? Sometimes parents should be locked up. I'm sorry. If you're stupid enough to buy your kid a gun, knowing that he has issues, you deserve to get locked up. I'm gonna say, there you go. I answered the question. You know, it's stupid. I'm sorry. You know, I talk to my son every day. Okay, I talk to my son every day. When I pick him up from school, the first thing I ask him is, "How was your day today?" I ask him every day when I pick him up from school, "How's your day?" Sometimes I ask him because I was look at his face and I see body language. If anybody messing with him, I'll ask him, "Everything okay?" You know, I don't ask him every day somebody messing with him. I don't do that. I just ask him, "How's your day?" He said, "Good." If I see there's a call, you know, because I think a couple of times, like I remember not this year, not last year, more early, no, not last year, when he was in the 2nd grade, early in the 2nd grade, um, he said some kid punched him in the stomach. So 2 years ago, because I asked him, I said, "How's your?" And I saw like the look on his face, like so he didn't want to talk to me because sometimes he don't feel comfortable talking to me. You know, I guess So he opened up to my wife, his mother, and he said that somebody punched him in the stomach. So then I was coming up the stairs in the basement. I came up and I heard it, and I said, and I asked, so we asked, so I said, and my wife was looking at me like, okay, don't. I said, no, I want to know too. So when she told me the name of the kid, I said, well, we're gonna talk to the teacher tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell her, and you're gonna tell her in your own words what happened, because I picked them up the next day. She had to go to work. So right there, yeah, my son said that I don't know which kid punched him in the stomach. But I'm telling my son, you need to speak up when something like that happens. I don't want you to be afraid. Because my son is afraid that the kid is going to get in trouble. I said, yeah, yeah. My son is afraid that the kid is going to get in trouble. I said, no, no, you can't think like that. I said, because and I told him, I said, if the kid punches you in the stomach today, he's going to keep on. He needs to be accountable. That's it. And plus, is now my son is getting anxious about going to school. So no, fuck no, I'm not gonna deal with that shit. Straight up, I'm not gonna fucking deal with it. So I told him, I said, I didn't say that, but I said, son, you need to speak up. If somebody lays a hand on you, you need to speak up. You need to tell the teacher, this boy is bothering me, or he punched me, and that's it. It's not about you being a snitch. It's about, you know what? You need to, tell them, and then that's it. And if she can't handle it, then I got to take over. Then if I have to go over her head and go to the principal, that's my job as a parent. I got to make sure my kid is safe. You understand? And that's what happened. So yeah. So what happened? The next day, we told the teacher, and the second grade teacher, she's not a pushover. She's strict. So right away, she had to talk with the kid, and she told him, and she told the parent of the kid. He got in trouble. He got in trouble. He didn't get, but in that, but this way, it never happened again. That was it. You see what I'm saying? Once he told me, I said, you know what? We're gonna talk to the teacher, and then we nipped it in the butt. That's it. We nipped it right there. It never got out of hand. And these parents that did that, they never addressed the kid's issue. That's the problem. Okay? That's the problem. And then on top of that, you're gonna give a kid a gun? That's why, I'm sorry, when you kill a kid, they should be in jail. I'm not against that. I'm sorry, because you know what? I ask my kid every day, you okay? You had a good day? And I ask him, anybody mess with you? No? Okay, we're good. That's it. Yeah, we're good. That's it. Because you know what? I want to nip it on the butt early. I don't want nobody messing with my kid. That's it. Because I pick him up. My wife or I pick him up every day. That's it. I'm not putting up with that. I'm not putting up with that. Believe me. I'll get involved. I'll get involved when it comes to my kid. Okay? You bully him, you better step up and bully. I don't care. I go after the parent if I have to. And I tell them, listen, you need to keep your kid in check or you're gonna deal with me. That's it. That's the way I deal with it. But you don't let it fester and ignore the kid, and the kid is telling you now he's having a horrible time in school, and then you're gonna give him a gun for Christmas. How stupid is that? Stupid. Alexa, volume max.
Another commodity. It can be bought up, it can be shifted, it can be moved around. Those are not folks living in those.
Yeah, I know, it was terrible.
That house is a big deal.
Bullies, yeah.
One house in my life.
You took care of it good and did good by your son, your dad. Thank you. Both of you and your wife. Yeah, we nip it in the butt. That's it.
We need to make it more affordable. And one of the things, as I said, this program that the vice president is pushing forward and bringing a new way of approaching this is something we're doing in Minnesota.
I'll be right back.
We in the state invested in making sure our housing was the biggest investment that we'd ever made in housing. It starts to make it easier. We've got some of the red tape. Local folks, look, we can't do it at the federal level, but local folks make it easier to build those homes. And then that down payment assistance. I can tell all of you out there, certainly for me, using the GI Bill was one thing, but a veteran's home loan, the big thing about a veteran's home loan is you don't have to pay the down payment. Those are things that make it there. Now, look, you're going to pay it back, and you're going to pay your mortgage. Those are things that we know in the long run, the appreciated value, the generational wealth that's created from it. And I would give Minneapolis an example. Minneapolis is the one city where we've seen the lowest inflation rates. We've seen a 12% increase in stock because we put some of these things in. And we're implementing a state program to make sure we get some of that down payment assistance. We get it back from people because here's what we know. People with stable housing end up with stable jobs. People with stable housing have their kids able to get to school. All of those things in the long run end up saving our money. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find some common ground in, but we can't blame immigrants for the only reason. That's not the case that's happening in many cities. The fact of the matter is that we don't have enough naturally affordable housing, but we can make sure that the government's there to help kickstart it, create that base.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, as far as your campaign's position, the promise is to seize federal lands to build homes, remove regulation, provide tax breaks, and cut back on immigration, which you say pushes up prices. Where are you going to build all the new homes you're promising, and what part of any of this plan will provide immediate relief? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes is one of the most significant drivers of home prices in the country. It's why we have massive increases.
Volume 3. Okay, this is boring. This is really. You see that? You see the difference between the Trump debate and these two? They're boring. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. And let me tell you something. I'm not trying to be, when he picked his running mate. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I was hoping he would pick somebody like Carrie Lake or Vivek. I like Vivek, but Vivek is a smart guy. I mean, I'm not against J.D. Vance. It's just that I was shocked at the pick. You understand? He's articulate and all that. It's just right now I'm waiting for the pow pow pow, and it's not happening. It's not happening. He keeps saying I agree with him. Like, no, I'm sorry. You need to deliver the knockout. He's trying to play both. I agree with no. They don't agree with you. They don't agree with you. They want to eliminate you. And they're saying about Trump, they want to eliminate him. They want to extinguish him. There's a problem with these fucking Republicans sometimes. There's a problem with these fucking Republicans. They try to reason with them. You can't reason with these fucking people. Gets under my skin, man. Especially when they try to assassinate him 2 times. The first time I was already okay. Oh, we're gonna tone down the rhetoric, and that shit didn't happen. Like within days, everybody started calling him Hitler and all this shit. And then this guy is kind of like, wow, come on, like I'm waiting for the knockout, and he's not happening. Fucking shit, man. Anyway, I'm fucking done with this shit. I don't care anymore. Fucking done. Alexa, stop. I'm done. I can't hear this shit no more. I can't hear this fucking I agree with you shit. All the fucking every other shit is I agree with you. I can't. I'm trying to listen to this thing. I can't. You gotta understand that. I'm sorry. I know people are gonna like it. They're not gonna like it. I don't care. I don't care that feelings get hurt. I do not care. Listen to me, people. When you watch this channel, I do not care what happens. The problem is that a lot of you people voted with your feelings. This is what happened 4 years ago. I can't stand them. Oh, he's a racist and all that. And you voted for the old fucking senile fuck. That's what you voted for. And this is what we've been getting. Fucking, high food prices. Fucking jar of mayonnaise like fucking $8. The other day, my wife wanted to order syrup. A box of syrup. The little package of syrup? It was $25 a few months ago. Now it's $50. It doubled. How the fuck does anything double in price? A lot of shit went up like fucking 2 times. I remember you used to go to the grocery store, the supermarket with $100. $100 to shop at a grocery. You came back with 4 or 5 grocery bags. Now $100. You're lucky if you fill up 1 bag or 2 bags instead of 4 or 5 bags. Because people vote with their fucking feelings. You know, you don't like the guy. You don't have to like the guy's personality. And I'm telling you, I'm not gonna say I'm afraid because you know what? I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm 58 years old, bro. And I joke about it on my radio channel. That if this country really were to get fucked, I'm going to another fucking country. And I'll be fine, bro, because I can speak Spanish. I'll survive. Believe me, I'll survive. I'll fucking survive. I joke about that. Danny Shortwave and Radio Day broadcasting from the island of Anguilla. I was not fucking joking about that. One day. It might happen. Because so many people are voting with their fucking feelings here. I can't listen to this shit. I can't just. He sounds like a. Hate to say it, he sounds like a politician. I'm disappointed in this guy so far. Like, it's not the time to be civil anymore. You gotta understand that these people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. When they throw that language out there about when he needs to be eliminated, he said, look, they telling people, go shoot this fucking guy. That's what they're saying. Okay? I'm gonna be honest. That's what they're saying. So I gotta put my soda, my beer because I don't want to knock it over. When they talk like that, is that they're saying, you know what? We condoning, we look the other way. Go fucking shoot the guy. Already 2 times it happened. There's going to be a 3rd time, believe me. And even if he gets elected, the man is not going to be safe for 4 years. He's not going to be safe. He's not going to be safe. And let me tell you something. This guy right now, the way he's talking, I'm losing trust in this guy right now. Okay? And he admitted it. He admitted that he didn't like him in the beginning. He didn't like him when he was 4 years ago. He didn't like him. He was one of them rhino guys. That's why I scratched my head about this whole shit. Why did he pick this guy for BP running mate? When he could have picked, I hate to say, even Nikki Haley, I don't care. She was nasty, Nikki. But goddamn, she would have brought so many fucking voters over. And I know that's crazy to say that, but my God, this fucking guy is like, I'm sorry. I'm disappointed right now. I'm fucking disappointed. Anyway, let me put it back on for the sake of the fucking stream, but I'm fucking done with this shit. Alexa, play WABC. Fuck it, you say it, shut up. Alexa, volume max.
Before. Those of you listening, this is critical to you. Now, Donald Trump all of a sudden wants you. Go back and remember this. He ran on the first thing he was going to do on day one was to repeal Obamacare.
So, waste of
on day
fucking
one,
time.
he tried to sign an executive order to repeal the ACA. He signed on to a lawsuit to repeal the ACA.
Now, he's not even challenging this guy on anything.
And he would have repealed the ACA had it not been for the courage of John McCain to save that bill.
He's not challenging him. I thought he was going to challenge him on everything.
Your pre-existing conditions. If you're sitting at home and you got asthma, too bad. If you're a woman, probably not. Broke your foot during football, might kick you out. Your kids get kicked out when they're 26. Kamala Harris negotiated drug prices for the first time with Medicare. We have 10 drugs that will come online, the most common ones that will be there. But look, this issue, and when Donald Trump said, I got a concept of a plan, it cracked me up as a 4th grade teacher because my kids would have never given me that. But what Senator Vance just explained might be worse than a concept, because what he explained is pre-Obamacare. And I'll make this as simple as possible because I have done this for a long time. What they're saying is, if you're healthy, why should you be paying more? So what they're going to do is let insurance companies pick who they insure, because guess what happens? You pay your premium, it's not much. They're figuring they're not going to have to pay out to you. But those of you a little older, gray, got cancer, you're going to get kicked out of it. That's why the system didn't work. Kamala Harris will protect and enhance the ACA.
Governor, thank you. Senator, you have not yet explained how you would protect people with pre-existing conditions or laid out that plan.
Well, look, we currently have laws and regulations in place right now that protect people with pre-existing conditions. We want to keep those regulations in place, but we also want to make the health insurance marketplace functional.
I know
better.
it's too much of a
What Governor
fucking.
Walz just said is actually not true.
Like you trying to be too. You just fucking go at him
Under
already.
its own weight is that a lot of young and healthy people
Jesus
are being
Christ.
exchanges. Donald Trump actually helped address that problem, and he did so in a way that preserved people's access to coverage who had pre-existing conditions. But again,
Alexa, stop. I can't. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. I'm trying. God help me. I'm trying, bro. He's like, I'm waiting for the guy to go after him. Like, how about your 30 fucking trips to China? How about when you let the police station burn to the fucking ground in Minnesota during the riot, in Minneapolis during the fucking riots? Like, I haven't heard shit. How about what the fuck are you putting tampons in boys' bathrooms? Like, I haven't heard any of this shit at all. Am I not? What is wrong with Alexa? Play WABC.
Playing WABC radio.
People who might not be able to afford it get there, and we make sure then when you get sick and old, it's there for you. Because I hear people say, well, I don't want to buy into Medicare or whatever. Good luck buying health care once you get past 70. So look, the ACA works. We can continue to do better. Kamala Harris did that. The way she made everything better was negotiating those 10 drugs on Medicare.
I don't know what he's waiting for.
American history.
Thank you, Margaret.
Can I address that?
I apologize.
No, just cut in there and fucking bring out the point.
In America,
Stop trying to be so polite.
there is a child care crisis. in this
Jesus
country,
Christ.
And the United States is one of the very few developed countries. in the
Trump would have
world
fucking threw the jab in
that
there
have a
already.
national paid leave program for new parents.
Jesus
Governor
Christ,
Walz,
bro.
you said that if Democrats
Oh my
win both the
God.
White House and Congress, this is a day one priority for you. How long should employers be required to pay workers while they are home taking care of their newborns? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's negotiable, and that's what Congress worked. But here's what the deal is. Americans sitting out there right now, you may work for a big company. Look, we're home in Minnesota to some of the largest Fortune 500 companies. Kamala Harris knows that in California. Those companies provide paid family medical leave. One is, I think they're moral and they think it's a good thing, but it also keeps their employees healthy. We in Minnesota passed a paid family medical leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home.
Sorry, I'm losing it. I'm losing it right now.
What we know is that gets the child off to a better
Sorry, I'm
start.
losing
Family
it.
works
Sorry.
better. We'd stay in their employers
Oh
and get
my
more
God.
consistency in that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota, and we see growth.
Oh my
That's how
God.
you become a pro-business state. But the negotiations on it, and here's the issue. Those big companies are able to offer it. Those of you out there who don't have it, just imagine what happens if you get cancer or your child gets sick. We know what happens. You end up staying home. In some cases, that means no paycheck.
It's almost
You have no
over.
protection on that. This is the case of an economy that Donald Trump has set for the wealthiest amongst us. He's willing to give those tax breaks to the wealthiest. He's willing to say, bust those unions up, do whatever. What we're saying is the economy works best when it works for all of us. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important.
Place look nice though.
to take either
Look at the place down there. DHL, FedEx.
And we have to make it easier.
Danny's Diecast Collection. There you go.
And then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota.
Oh,
and I'm still telling you
God.
this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have
I'm not a
children
fan of
when
this
you
guy.
want.
I'm telling you now.
Governor,
I'm
time
really.
is up. Senator, do you support a national paid leave program? And if so, for how long should employers be mandated to pay
I
their
wasn't
employees
crazy
while
about
they're
the
home taking
pick.
care of
Just
their
like
newborn?
Sid.
2
Sid doesn't
minutes.
like this pick
First of all,
either.
Millward, a number of my Republican
Sid
colleagues
Rosenberg
and
said he's
Democrats
not
see the
thrilled about this
conversation.
pick.
I think there is a
I feel the
bipartisan
same
solution
way.
here because a lot of us care about this issue.
I feel the
Look,
same way.
I speak from this
And I feel like if
personally
he
because
loses,
I'm
it's
married
this
to a
part of
beautiful
it.
woman who's an incredible mother to our 3 beautiful kids, but is also a very, very brilliant
I hate to
corporate
say it.
litigator, and I'm so proud of her. But being a working mom, even for somebody with all of the advantages of my wife, is extraordinarily difficult. And it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company.
And I understand
But
Mike
the
Pence.
cultural
Mike
pressure
Pence,
on
Mike Pence was
young families, and
religious.
especially young
So I
women,
understand why he
I
didn't
think
want to
makes
mix
it
it
really
up. He's
hard for
religious,
people to
whatever.
choose the family
I gave him
model
a
they want.
pass
A
for
lot of
that.
young women would like to go back to work immediately. Some would like to spend a little
And
time
he wound
with
up
the kids.
stabbing
Some would like to spend longer at home
Trump in
with
the
the kids.
back
We
anyway.
should have a family care model that makes choice possible. And I think this
This
is a
guy
very
is
important substantive
no
difference
fight,
between
man.
Donald
I
Trump
thought
and
I was gonna
Kamala
see
Harris's
some.
approach. I mean,
I
look,
thought I was
if we
gonna
look
see
at the federal
something, you know,
programs that we
like
have to
really.
support paid family leave right now, the Community Development Block Grant, and there's another block grant program that spends a lot of money from the federal government. These programs only go to one kind of childcare model. Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with childcare. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide childcare in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access
Even
to
Carrie
any
Lake,
of
I
these
would have
federal
won. I
models.
wouldn't mind
We
Carrie
want to
Lake.
promote choice in how we deliver family care
Well,
and how we
Sarah have to
promote
be
childcare because look,
Sanders.
it is unacceptable.
Because to me, I think he should
You
have picked a
know, Sid
woman.
and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7
I was
or 8
hoping he
weeks.
would pick
And
somebody
one of
like
the biggest
that.
complaints I hear from young families is people who feel like they don't have options, like they're choosing between going to work or taking care for their kids. That is an incredible burden to put on American families. We're the only country that does
Look
it. I
at
think we
Carrie
could do a
Lake.
heck of a lot
I like
better.
Carrie Lake.
Senator, thank
I would
you.
have seen. I could see
You
her.
have also said, Senator Vance, many things about the American family. The Federal Reserve says parents
Vivek would have been
will
good too,
spend
because
nearly as much
he
on
calls out the media. He
childcare
said,
as they do
"You
on
guys,
housing
yeah."
this month. So I want to get your
I mean,
thoughts
he's
on
done that a
this.
little bit, but
President Trump recently said,
I'm surprised he's not going
as
after
much
him.
as childcare is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive.
Like, get out
compared
of
to
the
the kinds
like.
of
He doesn't
numbers
answer
folks are taking
questions.
in.
Well,
When President
at least
Trump
he tries to
committed to the
answer.
$5,000
But you know,
per
you got to throw
child
it in there.
tax
Just
credit,
say, you know what?
you have
Why
to
don't you
stop
ask him
to hear a
about?
minute.
Well, what President Trump said,
Why don't you ask him about
defend the
35
line
trips to
maybe a little
China?
bit, is that
Why don't you
we're
ask him about?
taking a lot of money
You know what I'm saying? You can't
penalizing
throw it out
companies
there.
for shipping jobs overseas and penalizing countries who employ slave laborers and then ship their products back into our country and undercut the wages of American workers. It's the heart of the Donald Trump economic plan. Cut taxes for American workers and American families. Cut taxes for businesses that are hiring and building companies in the United States of America, but penalize companies and countries that are shipping jobs overseas. That's
Yeah,
the
sounds
part
like
of
a
the economic
politician
proposal.
indeed. Yeah, I
I think
know.
what President Trump is saying is that when we
I'm
bring
not
in this
hearing
additional
anything
revenue
like, you
and
know,
higher economic growth, we're going to be able to provide paid family leave, child
like,
care options that are viable
like
and
expose
workable
this
for
other
a
guy
lot
for
of
what he
American
is.
families.
He's a fucking nut.
Can you clarify how that will solve
He's
the
hiding it very
childcare
well. The other
shortage?
guy, Tim Walz,
Well,
he's like,
because, as Tim said,
he's
a lot of
usually
the
a nutty
childcare
guy,
savings is additional
waving
time
at like a nut
resources
job.
going into the multiple people who could be providing
I don't know if
family
he's
care
on
options.
medication or
And we're
something.
going to
He's
have
so
to,
calm now.
unfortunately, look, we're going to have to spend more money. We're going to have to induce more people to want to provide childcare options for American families, because the reason it's so expensive right now is because you've got way too few people providing this very essential service.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Walz, your ticket also has some child care tax credit proposals. Do you think Congress will agree to the $6,000 credit for newborns and $3,000 credit for children over the age of 6, as your campaign has promised? Is that
Like, they don't want to ask him about
Well, if
the
these members of Congress
tampons
are listening to me, buddy, I can tell you, and this is the biggest
in the
issue.
boys'
Everybody listening
bathroom.
tonight,
The
you guys,
outrageous
I'm sure,
shit.
were shocked to hear it's not that expensive. And let's be
Tim,
clear,
did you allow the
for
police stations to burn down?
that leaves you about 3 or 4
Tim,
months.
did you not bring the
Let's
National
be clear,
Guard
we're
to
around this.
in the rioting in the state of Minnesota? Like, nobody's bringing this shit up.
I'm not opposed to what he's talking about on options. We've done
Like, what are they
some
waiting
types of
for?
things. I think we need to be open to making the case. But the issue here is The question you asked is, you're not going to pay for it with these tariffs. That's just adding another $4,000 on the family and taking less. So not only do they not get the money to pay for that, they're $4,000.
Like I would have brought it up from the beginning. The moderator.
The issue here
if they don't bring it up, he should have brought it up.
I can't believe they're not. When I go to businesses, sure, they'll talk about taxes sometime, but they will lead with childcare, and they will.
Because Trump would have done that. Why don't you ask him about this? About tough on crime? Why don't you ask him? Trump would have brought it up.
Governor, thank you. We need to move on. Nora?
Let's talk about the state of democracy, the top issue for Americans after the economy and inflation. After the 2020 election, President Trump's campaign and others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results.
There we go.
Judges,
January 6th. Here comes January 6th.
Republican presidents looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud. The governors of every state in the nation, Republicans and Democrats, certified the 2020 election results and sent a legal slate of electors to Congress for January 6th.
See, I told you.
You have said you would.
I told you, January 6th. Here we go.
Presidential election, and would have asked the states to submit alternative electors. That has been called unconstitutional and illegal. Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th, the protesters ought to protest peacefully. And on January the 20th, what happened?
They always bring that shit up. They always bring that
left the White House.
Fucking January 6th. Like, it's like, some people say it's like, oh, it's bad as 9/11. What kind of stupid shit is that when fucking AOC says that?
Unfortunately, it's not the threat to democracy.
Like, one person got killed and it was Ashley Babbitt. I said she got shot.
Of censorship. It's Americans
by Capitol Hill police.
Friendships because of disagreements over politics. It's big technology companies.
It's fucking insulting to the victims.
And it's Kamala Harris saying that
to bring that shit up and say that it's a horrible day in this country.
Engage in misinformation.
It's fucking fabricated fucking
in the last 40 years. Now, I'm really proud, especially given that I was raised by two lifelong blue-collar Democrats, to have the
like they want to stain that shit on Republicans for that one. Oh, you guys are not going to challenge it.
They don't agree with me.
Didn't Hillary?
Issue. We don't have to agree on every issue.
As soon as she lost, didn't she say that he was an illegitimate president and all this shit? Didn't they challenge that?
We ought to argue about them. We ought to try to persuade our fellow Americans. Kamala Harris is engaged in censorship at an industrial scale. She did it during COVID. She's done it over a number of other issues. And that, to me, is a much bigger threat to democracy than what Donald Trump said when he said that protesters should peacefully protest.
Censorship, a threat to democracy. See, they put the threat to democracy. You know?
Speaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator. Me too. There's one.
They keep throwing that shit out there. And that's why they're trying to put a bullet in this fucking guy's head now. But they keep saying that threat to democracy.
I don't think we can be the frog in the pot and let the boiling water go up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he did.
And he has a right to protest it. Anybody that loses an election, they have a right to say, you know what, I want to recount.
A group gathered on the state capitol.
That's their right.
In St. Paul, and said, we're marching to the governor's residence, and there may be casualties. The only person there was my son and his dog, who was rushed out crying by state police. That issue, and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence made the right decision. So, Senator, it was adjudicated over and over and over. I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. That's what was at stake here. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about is the idea that imprisoning your political opponent, already laying the groundwork for people not accepting this. And a president's words matter. A president's words.
You don't have to accept it. That's his right.
So I think this issue of settling our differences in the ballot box, shaking hands when we lose.
They act like he wasn't going to leave the White House after after he lost. He still fucking left. They thought that he was going to be held up in the White House with a, no, you're not taking me out of here. And they had to drag him out of the White House. Fucking people bullshit, yo.
I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election, and the winner needs to be the winner. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
Margaret? Senator Vance, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, look, Tim, first of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We're going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we'll win, and I think we're going to win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help whenever he wants it. But we have to remember that for years in this country, Democrats protested the results of elections. Hillary Clinton in 2016
they've been doing that shit for
said
years.
that Donald Trump had the election stolen by Vladimir Putin because the Russians bought like $500,000 worth of Facebook ads. This has been going on for a long time. And if we want to say that we need to respect the results of the election, I'm on board. But if we want to say, as Tim Walz is saying, that this is just a problem that Republicans have had,
still waiting for him to go at it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen tonight.
January 6th was not Facebook ads. And I think a revisionist history, I don't understand how we got to this point. But the issue was that happened. Donald Trump didn't do it. And all of us say there's no place for this. It has massive repercussions. This idea that there's censorship to stop people from threatening to kill someone, threatening to do something, that's not censorship. Censorship is book banning. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance, I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement. This is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just have to, did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of the government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy.
Now, we already know that happened.
Live this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another.
Alexa, I can't hear this no more. Alexa, volume 3, please. And by the way, that is true about the censorship thing. They did a recent like a study. When you go on Google and you put, like, for example, presidential election, or just put Donald Trump, you won't find his link on the top. And if you do, you find Kamala links on the top, like vote for her. In other words, Google's fixing the search. Shame on you, Google. By the way, you own YouTube, but shame on you, Google. Shame on you for doing that. And by the way, I knew that was happening for a long time. I knew Google was doing that for a long time. And this channel is probably going to get shadow banned now because I'm saying it. But yeah, Google, shame on you. Because I knew that. Even Yahoo, when you go to Yahoo, I have a Yahoo account. I go to Yahoo, I just read the stupid articles there. Because Yahoo is all full of shit too. You see Kamala ads all over Yahoo. You will not see one Trump ad. All you see is Kamala ads. That's what you see. Go to Yahoo, you see. Google's the same shit. The same thing. If you put something, you're looking for Trump, right away you see Kamala ads on the top. And then the Trump links that you see are all negative articles about him. So yeah, Google, shame on you. Alexa, volume max.
WABC on your Echo device. Tell Alexa to play 77 WABC. 77 WABC. Cars for kids. No more stressing over your old vehicle. Donate it today and get it picked up tomorrow. It's the easiest service out there. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars.
Alexa, volume 3. This delay is killing me. I know next time I'm gonna do over the air. Even I have to rewind the wire in here and put it. I'm gonna have to do that because it's horrible. The problem is that this tuner is not that good anyway. Plus, I didn't want to do it, But anyway, that's it. This is the last debate anyway. This is the last debate of either one. So, but my take on this debate right now, to me, because early election is already happening. This is what you say? No. The only thing I got from out of this so far is that JD Vance is hate to say I'm still not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of this guy. I'm not a fan of him. When they first announced the pick, I was very shocked. I was very shocked. And he, his life story is interesting. They were poor, humble beginnings and all that, and he made something out of himself. He served in Iraq and all that. He was a Marine and all that. Then he went to Yale. And Ohio State also. He was at Ohio State. But I never forget that he was one of those people that didn't like Trump. I will always go back to that. Why would you put somebody that didn't like you to be the vice president? It's like you haven't learned your lesson. And I know what happened. They told him that he's gonna bring in the Midwest vote. He's gonna bring the Midwest vote. Like for example, Ohio's supposed to be a swing state. I think Michigan is a swing state. Wisconsin. So they figure they want to use him for that. Instead of going for a more likable candidate. Like I like Vivek. I like what he says. And he's another billionaire. In other words, he doesn't need the fucking. He's not gonna get influenced by money. He's a billionaire. I would ask someone like that to be vice president. I like him. I don't understand why he picked this guy. I really don't. I'm very. I just don't understand that pick. I'm not a fan of this pick. And when you come on the debate and you don't challenge the guy, Trump would have threw it out there. Oh, instead of asking him about this, why don't you ask him about? That's what Trump would have said. That's what Trump would have said. Trump would have said, instead of you asking him about, whatever stupid question, why don't you ask him about why he's been to China 35 times? Does that not alert, alarms go off in your head that the guy is fucking going to China 35 times? You're like, he doesn't. Trump would have threw the fucking shit at. Why don't you ask him about this? Alexa, volume max.
They believe in a positive future of this country and one where our politics can be better than it is. And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just to get by, but to get ahead. And the idea that freedom really means something. Not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room, but the freedom for you to make choices about yourself. Now, look, we all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said, believe it when he told you that. His first inaugural address talked about American carnage. And then he spent 4 years trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand with Donald Trump's agenda. He will continue to push down that road. Excuse me. Kamala Harris gives us a different option. Now, I'll have to tell you, I'm going to be careful about the quotes, but there's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me. He said, Donald Trump makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way. We don't need to be afraid. Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that. All the while asking everyone, join this movement, make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive. I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th for Kamala Harris.
Governor Walz, thank you. Senator Vance, your closing statement.
Well, I want to thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening. And one of the issues we didn't talk about was energy. And I remember when I was being raised by my grandmother, when she didn't have enough money to turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night and because money was often very tight. And I believe, as a person who wants to be your next vice president, that we are a rich and prosperous enough country where every American, whether they're rich or poor, ought to be able to turn on their heat in the middle of a cold winter night. That's gotten more difficult thanks to Kamala Harris's energy policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal.
Never even challenged him on the China trips and all that.
Kamala Harris's policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford to buy a house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods.
Never challenged him on the
communities flooded with fentanyl.
Burning down the precinct in Minneapolis.
Because of Kamala Harris's policies.
Why he let it burn down?
I've been in politics long enough.
They didn't challenge him on the
when she stands before the American people and says,
why not bring in the National Guard when the mayor of Minneapolis was begging him to bring the National Guard in? Why he didn't bring all this shit up?
Day one was 1,400 days ago, and her policies have made these problems worse. Now, I believe that we have the most beautiful country in the world. I meet people on the campaign trail who can't afford food.
Now, you can't bring it up.
Grace and generosity.
Just bring it up.
What I'm doing, and to tell me they're praying for my family. What that has taught me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world. But they're not going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able to live their American dream if we do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 3.5 years. We need
bring up the fact that
we need a president.
What the fuck are you putting tampons in boys'
please vote for Donald Trump.
bathrooms?
You vote for me or vote for Tim Walz. I just want to say I'm so
like why are you pandering to like less than 1% of the
And thank you both for participating in the only vice presidential debate of this election cycle. I'm Margaret Brennan.
And I'm Nora O'Donnell. And a reminder, there are just 35 days until Election Day. Please get out and vote. And for all of us here at CBS News, thank you and good night.
Like he couldn't bring it out. Like Trump would have done that. Trump would have said, why don't you ask him about, what? Trump would have just told the moderator, why don't you ask him about, what happened in Minneapolis? Like, you don't think that's a big deal? Like, you let a police precinct burn down to the ground? And why don't you bring up the fact that, Kamala Harris bailed out a lot of the rioters. Like, why don't you bring all that shit out? Like, he didn't do that. Alexa, volume 5. Fucking pissed off. This is why I didn't like this pick. I can't wait for Sid to talk about it tomorrow morning. I can't wait. I think he's gonna sound like me. Like you couldn't bring that shit out in the debate. You understand what I'm saying? Like Trump would have done that. Remember when Trump did that with Biden? Why don't you explain to them the $9 million you received? You know, bring it out. I don't care. Even if it's not part of, you gotta bring it out. Let the people hear it. Like he really sounded like a politician. Jesus Christ. Now I gotta hear Anthony fucking Weiner. Fucking perv. Fucking pedophile. Jesus Christ. I don't know why they have this guy in the panel. I swear to God, I'm this close to not listening to the station no more. Just because of this guy. I'm this close, bro. Saturday afternoons, I don't listen to the station. Because I can't listen to this fucking guy. Let me listen to a couple of minutes. As soon as this guy talks, I'm gonna fucking Alexa, volume max.
Governor Walz did better than I expected. That partly might be because of the gentleman nature that vice presidential candidate Vance showed. He was a gentleman.
Mr. Chair, Ed Cox. They were both gentlemen. They both did very well.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be a gentleman. If they're attacking us like that, you gotta attack back. Especially when they say shit like, you know, you're gonna squash a fucking bug. You're Hitler. You're threat of democracy. Come on, man. You should have brought this shit out. I'm sorry. I don't know why Trump picked this guy. I really don't understand this guy. I'm trying here, folks. I don't like this pick. I didn't like it from day one. Now you see why. You see why.
It had nothing to do with that. The border could have been shut down.
Jesus Christ, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just fucking losing it right now.
Put in place the same kind of policies that to close the border that Donald Trump had put in place.
Anthony Weiner. That was a great debate. I'm a bit of a policy nerd. I thought it was a good civil debate, going back and forth. Some things you can fact check probably on both sides.
Fucking
dick
pic Weiner. There you go.
The China stuff kind of lost.
Carlos Danger.
Sure what his answer
fucking
was.
sending dick pics to young fucking.
The best moment for Walz came at the end of the
Alexa,
6th.
stop. I don't want to hear this fucking guy. Wait a couple of minutes. I'm sorry. I can't fucking hear this guy. Fucking pissing me off now. Shit. Fucking pissed off. Fucking hear this fucking creep. Fucking God, I'm sorry. Ah! Oh my God. I had it on Newsmax, man. They're Pluto, but you know, of course, Newsmax. Fucking dick pic, Carlos Danger, fucking talking. I don't know how they had this guy in the panel. I mean, seriously. Who sends a picture of his dick to somebody, to anybody? Only this guy did it. And he sent it to a minor. You know? Like, what kind of sick fuck you gotta be to send a picture of your dick? Of your fucking dick. I'm sorry. And he's still on that. Why is he having a show? Saturday afternoon, he's fucking on for 2 hours or whatever the fuck it is. Jesus Christ. Alexa, play WABC.
Playing WABC.
Hopefully he's done talking.
The other moment that I thought was stunning to me. First, Anthony, you hit it on the head at the beginning. He fumbled. He confused Israel and Iran. He didn't know where he was talking. His eyes were bulging out of his head. If you could see it visually, he looked completely off, I thought, off his mark. He got up at other points. The other point was on guns. This, to me, was a stunning moment when they said, they talked about gun control and the issues of gun controls in school. And he said, yes, you should not be ready for prime time. The other moment that I thought was stunning to me. First, Anthony, you hit it on the head at the beginning. He fumbled. He confused Israel and Iran. He didn't know where he was talking. His eyes were bulging out of his head. If you could see it visually, he looked completely off, I thought, off his mark. He got up at other points. The other point was on guns. This, to me, was a stunning moment when they said, they talked about gun control and the issues of gun controls in school. And he said, yes, you should not necessarily stigmatize. It's not always mental health. He said, sometimes it's just the guns. Like the guns just pop out of somebody's hand and fire off. Like it's not somebody who fires the guns. He tried to make it sound like guns fly off the shelves and then start, robbing the bank or something. That to me was a preposterous notion from a man who has talked about gun buybacks, also has Kamala Harris. And I thought there were just a lot of missed moments here for sure in this one. John, who do you think won or lost? What do you think, John?
I think it was close.
Another one I can't listen to.
It's just
Probably, I would say 52-48.
52-48.
In JD Vance.
Yeah, I agree. I actually would say, I'd say 65-35.
Really?
JD Vance, absolutely. You know what? Because the Democrats have been trying to villainize also JD Vance. They've kind of positioned him as a boogeyman. And I thought what he did tonight was, I thought he came across.
All right. Anyway, all right.
Alexa,
Stop. I can't no more. They're trying to justify this shit. To me, here's my take on it, and then I'm done. 2 hours and 35 minutes in the books. Thank you for watching. Here's my take. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it like I don't care. I don't fucking care. This is the one chance you had to really. This guy, Tim Walz, is a fucking Looney Tunes. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, he's a Looney Tunes. He's a horrible candidate. You think Kamala Harris is liberal? This guy is all the way on the other fucking side. He's way out there. He's worse than her, and you can't get worse than her. This guy's worse than her. And this guy, all he had to do, JD Vance, I'm sorry. All he had to do is bring it out. Just say, first of all, why did you allow the police station to burn down? Right there, that covers backing the police. Crime. What happened? Then the mayor of Minneapolis is on record of saying why he begged for the National Guard to come in. Governor did not bring in the National Guard. I think it was like 3 days late. After 3 days, he finally brought the National Guard in. By that time, one of the police stations were burned down. Half of the freaking city was burned down. Okay? This is after George Floyd, the whole George Floyd thing. Okay? He was the governor. He's the governor at that time. He was the governor. He let the fucking city burn down. Then I would have brought up the whole China shit, because that's a big fucking deal. I would have said, why are you taking? Why do you know? You're gonna elect somebody that is clearly compromised? 35 trips to China. It's on record that they got married on the day, the anniversary of Tiananmen Square massacre. Tiananmen Square. Okay, their wedding anniversary is on the day of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Like you can't bring that shit up. I would say, I'm sorry, Margaret Brennan. I'm sorry, what's her name? Nora. Why don't you ask him about that stuff? You know, like he didn't want his way to throw that question out there. That's why Trump was good at that. Trump likes to throw shit out there. He don't follow the you know, your time is up. I said, no. Bring that shit out. Let us hear it. In other words, tell the moderators, why don't you ask him about that? That's what he didn't do. And that to me, that's why I think he fucking blew this shit. He blew it. He blew it. I don't want to hear about that 65-35. He didn't win. You know who actually came out better? Tim Walz came out better. He actually sounded normal. He didn't sound like a crazy fucking guy. He sounded normal. I found him to be normal because he didn't rattle his fucking cage. You know, that's why Vance, you know, it's your job to rattle his fucking cage. That's what he didn't do. He should have brung that shit up. Can you explain why you took 35 trips to China? Can you explain, you know, about the police precinct? And I saw the movie about that. There's a movie about that, about the whole police precinct. Now, why they let it burn down to the ground? You know? Like, they could have called in the National Guard to stop that. People from, bum rushing that police station. And he didn't do nothing. This guy didn't do shit. He didn't do nothing. Okay? Because of fucking George Floyd, fucking crackhead, fucking criminal motherfucker. That's what happened. Okay? And don't fucking tell me he could have brought that shit up and he didn't bring it up. And he didn't do it. He didn't bring up anything. And I'm telling you right now, if we lose the election, it's because of this shit. Because of what happened today. Because this guy, I don't like him. I don't fucking like this guy as vice president. I don't like him. I don't trust him. I don't fucking trust this guy. I'm telling you, tomorrow you're gonna hear Bernie talk about that. He doesn't like him. I didn't as soon as they announced it in the right before the convention, I said, what the fuck is this guy doing? Why did he pick him? I don't know if the Republican Party put pressure on. Oh, you should get this guy. This guy. I didn't even know who the fuck this guy was. I didn't know who this guy was. Senator of Ohio, whatever. I didn't know who he was. And then we find out later on that he didn't like him in the beginning. Why would you pick somebody you didn't even like? Why would you pick somebody that he didn't even like you at any point? He could have picked a whole bunch of other people. He could have picked Carrie Lake. He could have picked anybody. Carrie Lake, Nikki Haley, even though they had a fucking, even though they were fucking, at least you would have brought some votes over. Vivek. And you pick this guy. I'm sorry, I'm fucking losing it right now. He didn't deliver. He did not deliver today. I don't care what they just said right now. He did not deliver. He didn't bring that shit out there for the people to hear that this Tim Walz is a fucking Looney Tunes. Okay? He didn't bring it out. He didn't put it out there. That's one thing. That's your job. You're supposed to put it out there for the people to see. Here it is. That's my take on it. Right now, I think Tim Walz won. He won. I hate to say it. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate to say it. It sounds like he won the debate. Because he sounded smart. He sounded like he was on point on things. But this guy's job, all he had to do was bring that shit out. All he had to do was bring out that stuff and let him see his reaction. And he didn't do that. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that. I am not on my tassel. I was waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. Yeah, tell him. Let's hear it. He never brung it out. There's no way, to me, there's no way you didn't bring it out because you forgot. You didn't bring it out because you don't want to bring it out. So to me, you're already backstabbing him. You should have brung it out. If he's behind, this Trump, Vance behind, he should have brung it out. He should have said, by the way, he should have brung it out right there, because you can't depend on the moderators to bring it out. You cannot depend on the moderators to say, and they're not gonna ask that question. You already know that. You understand? You already know that. I know that. Anybody with common sense know the moderators are not gonna bring out that question. They're softballing questions right now. They're not gonna bring out that question. Can you explain why you took 35 trips to China? You don't find that to be a concern? People are gonna vote for you. Like, why are you so chummy with the Chinese people? Not the Chinese government. Excuse me. Why? Why did you let the police precinct burn down when the mayor of Minneapolis at that time begged you to bring the National Guard in? Like, the moderator is not going to ask that question. It's your job to put it out there, and he failed at that. He failed. Okay. So my take on it right now, I'm sorry, he lost this debate. He lost it. Because all he did was talk about the same thing that he talks about. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, all that. But you should have rattled his fucking cage, and you should have made him explain that. Explain that. And there's no teleprompter in front of him. Make him explain, why did you do that? Why did you let the police precinct burn down? Why did you not send the National Guard when the mayor wanted you to send the National Guard? And by the way, why did your running mate bailed out all those rioters that just burned down your city? Burned down the city. Why? You want to protect, the lives of the American citizens. Why would you bail out people that burned down half of the city of Minneapolis? That's what your running mate did. She set up a fund to bail out all these people, and he didn't do that. He didn't throw those questions out there. I would have threw those questions out there. I would have done it. I would have interrupted. I said, I'm sorry. He says, hey, you asking him this question? Why don't you ask him this question? That's it. Nothing's stopping you from saying that. You might get your mic muted right after that, but at least throw it out there. In fact, out of the 2 minutes that you got to talk, spend about 20 seconds mentioning that. Answer your question about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then take the last 30 seconds and say, oh, and by the way, why don't you ask him about this? That's what I would have done. That's what Trump would have done. But he didn't do that. And to me, I don't know, it's fishy. I don't like it. And now I like him less now. I didn't like him much at all. Now I don't like him at all. I just can't fucking trust this guy. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Anyway, that is it for me. Thank you for watching. I am gonna go. That's it. That is my rant, and yeah. So definitely, And I'm glad it's the only one. Please, no more debates. Please, I'm done with these debates. The last one was a joke. They ganged up on Trump. I know she mentioned the whole, I agree with CNN, and we're gonna do another one. No, we're not. And I'm glad he said no. Like, you know what, we're done. And then this one, of course, you know. And I'm telling you right now, if we lose, this is gonna be because of this running mate. Instead of picking somebody that you knew had a following, I don't care. Even Nikki Haley, I don't care. Would have been better than this guy. I could imagine Nikki Haley next to this guy. She would have brought all that shit up. At least. I know she's a fucking bitch, whatever you want to call her. But at least she would have she would have brought it up. I know she would have brought it up. Or Carrie Lake would have brought it up. Carrie Lake would have brought it up. You know, because I was more leaning toward, I thought he was going to pick a woman. I really thought he was going to pick a woman that's running mate. And I know the whole, oh, you should have picked identity politics. Well, they fucking do it. Why can't we fucking do it? And that's why my thinking. He should have picked one of them. Carrie Lake, someone like that. I don't, even Nikki Haley, I didn't give a shit. Because they already let bygones be bygones. But he came out of left field and picked this guy. And this guy right now, he's not cutting it. To me, he's not cutting it. I'm sorry. He's not cutting it. You know, we need a fighter. We need somebody that can fight. This guy, he's another fucking politician. We don't need another politician. We need somebody that's going to fight. Yeah, I know Nikki Haley is kind of established too, but I mean, this guy, he brought nothing today. He brought nothing. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Anyway, I am done for tonight. Thank you for watching. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you for, please smash the like button, share the video, whatever. I don't really care. But yeah, that's my take on it. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. Anyway, good night, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care. No more debates from now on. One thing I'm going to say is vote. Don't stop voting with your feelings. People, please, we need some common sense. I know this guy is not the best guy that, you know, we got the list of the two evils. But he already proven that, you know, honestly, he could have done a better job if the whole fucking country was in, and I say, I don't care, people don't like it, cock blocking him. You know, he had a house that cock blocked every fucking bill. You know, he could have built a wall faster, but cock block. Everything was cock block. You know, so he didn't. So really, his first term, he didn't get to do all the things he wanted to do, and he still did a lot. And that's what's gonna happen now. Even if he does get elected, he's gonna deal with all the other shit. They're gonna cock block every fucking thing. Everything he's gonna have to do is executive order. It's sad. That's what we are, you know. And if she gets elected, and listen, if she gets elected, God help us. God help us. I know for me, I gotta go with my Danny Finance. Hopefully tomorrow, whatever. I've been buying heavy precious metals. I got 2 unboxings I have to do there. I've been buying silver, and I started buying some gold because you just don't know what's gonna happen. Even if he does get elected, he's not gonna get reelected, obviously, because he already ran. He already had 4 years before, so he can only do so much in 4 years. So even if he gets elected, we just put off the inevitable for 4 years from now. What's gonna happen after 4 years from now? You see, so you still got to prepare for something. In 4 years, who knows? Even if he does get elected. Right now, you know, what happens is too many people in this country are voting with their feelings. You need to stop that shit. You need to come on, bro. Vote for common sense. That's it. All right, I'm out. Good night, everybody. Good night.